Greetings, 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 one and all. Always a pleasure. Let's get it. Here I go. Hopefully, I stay within my boundaries. Well, let's get it popping. As you know, I'm representing Chicago, Illinois, Chi-Town, the Windy City, and Chirac. Let's see who's here and where you're from. Rep your city, rep your city, rep your city. We have Buffalo in the building. Make sure you support your channel and subscribe to Pharaoh Said That Live. That's going to be interesting for sure. Pharaoh Said That Live is going to be interesting. Be phone lines and stuff over there. That's going to be crazy. Make sure you're there. January 1st, 2026 is going to pop off next year. But get my subscribers up over there. So we ready to rock and roll. We got Fresno in the building. We have Woodbridge in the building. We have New Orleans in the building. We have North Miami Beach in the house. We have San Jose in the building. Oklahoma, Dallas, Texas, Baltimore, Tampa. We got St. Croix in the building. Big up yourself, everybody out there. And I said Croix, you know? Yeah. Much respect to all my brethren and sisters in St. Croix. Yes, indeed. I'm connected with many of the places you all are from. They bring up memories. They bring up memories. So when I hear about St. Croix, I think about my brethren that passed away. Go to Pharaoh, my brethren. Spent many hours with my brethren. Go to Pharaoh. My good brethren. Found out he was no longer with us on Facebook. Looking for him. I was looking for him. There's my brethren, go to Pharaoh. Most of those Haile Selassie buttons he got on, he got them from me because I used to make them and sell them. As my brethren, as soon as I got to Los Angeles, I met the brethren. Good brethren. So, I was talking to a good friend. Lots of my lives, you all. Some of my lives, a lot of them I get from real life situations. Okay? So when you see me, don't come over here And you say, why you didn't go live? Because I'm probably one of the few people on YouTube. I just don't go live. I don't, of course, I could have way more subscribers and, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, like. But when I go live, it's always organic. I never just go live. I never take gossip and go live. I never just look at stories and just go live. So no matter what's going on, if you see something going on and you see a lot of people reporting on it, talk about it, and if you see me talk about it, I'm not talking about it because they talking about it. I'm talking about it because it interests me. If it does not interest me, I will not go live. So that's why my lives don't have no time period. I never know when I'm going to go live because I really go off of real inspiration. So tonight, this is based off of real inspiration, having a conversation. And after the conversation with this person, I kept thinking about it. And I said, let me talk about depression. Because I feel that they might have to change the word. The word depression, it really doesn't fit what they're using it for. So I'm going to talk about that. Depression, I think they need a better word for that. I don't think it's an accurate description. I think it should be another word that includes these different types of way you react to this same description. Because the way they push depression is that you're down and out or something like that, right? So the definition of depression is in a state of general unhappiness or despondency, which to me, that's not really accurate, right? So we're going to get into that. In life, everybody has gifts. So everybody on the planet has a gift, and it's up to you to find your gift or your gifts and to use your gifts to make it in the world, to keep yourself busy, to help others or whatever. So everybody has gifts. And so one thing you don't want to do, you don't want to be worried about somebody else's gift because you got a gift. And me, I have certain gifts. Now, when I say I got gifts, this is, I don't consider that something to brag about. Because certain gifts are not necessarily pleasant. And so, we talk about depression, but let's just talk about gifts. All gifts are not pleasant. That's a fact. All gifts are not pleasant gifts. And so I have gifts, naturally music. I have a gift for music. I could play lots of instruments. I haven't played the bass guitar in has to be about 20 something years, maybe almost 30 years since I played the bass guitar. And you could give me a bass guitar right now, push to a piano or something, give me the letter E so I can tune the first string, and then tune it according to strength. And you could put on a reggae song or a song right now. Unless it's extremely complicated, I could play it before 1/3 of that song is finished. So I mean 2/3 of that song I can play along with it naturally. And I don't know what notes I'm playing. So I have a gift for music. I grew up and played trumpet. Went to Vandercook College of Music, where I had to learn how to play lots of instruments. I finished 1 year. I must have learned about 7 instruments that first year. Then I became a little bit unhappy with being, with what I was learning about being black. And so with a A in music, almost the end of the first year, I stopped going. I stopped going to music college because I became very frustrated. And I would leave home and go to the library and read about black stuff. And that was the birth of the one you see now. And now one of my talents is psychology and psychiatry. When I went to this music college, they made us take a psychiatry class. I don't know if it was psychology or psychiatry. And I was always a really bright student, but I just didn't want to be, I didn't care, right? So I didn't want to be the top of the class, I just wanted to go to school and enjoy the other students. I was more social than, educational, you know. I didn't like education because I felt like if you couldn't do math as good as me and you couldn't read as good as me, what's that got to do with the cost of tea in China? You're still my friend, so I'm not going to look down on you because of your grades. And I don't want to hang with people because of their grades. I'm kicking it with everybody, the smart kids, the medium kids, the dumb kids. I'm kicking it with everybody. School was somewhere to go to be social to me. Education second, social first, hang out with the other children, the other students. So I was taking this psychology class. There was a white dude there. And of course, I was looked at as kind of like really intelligent. So he was highly intelligent. So we made a bet. And we bet who would get the highest score in a psychology class. Now, I forgot what the numbers was, but at the end of the year, I know I was 2 points behind him. So let's say if he had 198 points, I had 196 points. So when we got our grades, I went to show him to see if I won the $20 or $25. I forgot what we bet, but we are young adults, like 19 or something. So we're not really adults. We don't got no money like that. So I guess it was $20 or $25 or whatever. So I went to show him, look, man, I got 196 points out of 200, right? Me and him is the top. And he showed me, and he got 198, and I got like 196, right? So he beat me, He had 198 points, and I had 196 in psychology for the year. My mind is way out because who would have thought to do this? So before I paid him, I went and got my book. I went and got my psychology book. This is a white guy. And I gave him my book. And I said, open my book. And when he opened my psychology book, it cracked. It had never been opened. So when I gave him my book, now tell me what kind of mind you get. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, who thinks like that at 19? That just shows you I'm a weirdo right there, right? So I gave him my book. I don't know. How did I know to do that? So I gave him my book. I'm going to show him, bro, you're not smarter than me. Open my book. Because I got 196 and I ain't never did no home. I ain't never read the book. So when he opened the book, it said crack. He said, he tells all the other whites, wow. So we're the highest in the class, and you're only 2 points behind me, and you never opened this book? I was like, nah. So he gave me the $20 or $25. He said, bro, you won, guy. You absolutely won. You never studied? I said, nah. Because I was natural with psychology. It's something you're born with. I'll give you an example. The teachers in high school used to make us read these novels, these books. And then at the end of the year, after you're supposed to read the book or during reading the book, they give you a test on to see if you read the book. And I noticed that when the teacher would give you the test to the book, the test for the book would be in order. So it'd be the beginning of the chapter, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. What kind of kid is this, right? So if the test said, what was Peter's dog name? I could read down, and question number 5 would be, when his dog Spot got killed, how did Peter take it? So I'd be like, Spot, right? Because the teacher telling you the answers in the test. So if you ever tell your children, if they ever have to take a test for a novel, tell them before they answer the first question, read the whole test first, because a lot of the answers are in the test. But that's another day, right? Now, this how I got like this. This is my father and my mother. And my father, these are Black people from the South, Alabama, where they didn't get any opportunity. So foundational Black Americans didn't really get any opportunity until the Great Migration. There were some that got some opportunity before the Great Depression. But after the Great Depression in the 30s, there was no opportunity, not only for foundational Black Americans, but for whites or nobody. All the opportunities started from zero because of the Great Depression. So my parents came up here from the South. So all of their abilities, they had all of their progress, they had to get after having children. So they had to progress in their 20s, in their young 20s, after they had me and my sister, right? So all their progress had to happen. So my mother moved up here, and she used to work for Spiegel's catalog, and then she went to school and she started working for the city. Then, because she had went back to school, she started working for the state, and she ended up working for the U.S. government. My father was a CTA bus driver. Now, with my father, I believe he had a natural ability, but his ability grew by driving on the bus on the streets of Chicago. So by my father driving on the buses of street Chicago and picking up people every day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days when he want to work overtime, he is socializing. So he became a natural sociologist. My father knew all about people. So as a young kid, me and my sister would hear him talk about people because that was his job. So that's why I'm naturally a sociologist. I got that from my father. Many nights I would ride on the bus with my father. My mother would take me at about like 6 in the evening, 7 in the evening, and meet him he'll tell her where to meet him, and she'll be at the bus stop, and he'll pull up, and she would put me on the bus, and I would ride on the bus with my daddy all night, which helped my social skills, because imagine being, 9 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, riding on the bus in Chicago, up and down like Stony Island, from one end of Chicago all the way a long way and back all night, and looking out the window and seeing what's going on, right? So that's how I learned sociology from my father. My mother was a natural psychiatrist. My mother ended up working for the draft board which during the Vietnam War. So a lot of people, she worked for Selective Service, it's called. And when you would go to register for the draft, you had to go to her office. And her boss was the lady that ran the whole Midwest. And eventually my mother ended up running the whole Midwest. And when they ended the draft, my mother went and worked for the VA. And my mother was a psychiatrist by nature. She has a natural ability to deal with the mind. She was like really, really great at it. So I got that from her. So I'm a psychiatrist and a sociologist. You know, my best example I could give of my mother is that one of the patients at the Veterans Administration Hospital, and my mother wasn't a nurse or nothing. She was doing administrative work. Now think about that. She wasn't really dealing with the patients other than making sure they get their payments or whatever, right? So one of the patients one day, he left the VA administration downtown and he went out on the south side and got on the side of the freeway. So he was going to jump and unalive himself. So they got all the people coming. So they said, they went to my mother and say, Bess, so-and-so, and my mama know who they are. You know, she's from Alabama, so she's a very people person. So my mother put on her coat and stuff and they took her down there. And my mother gets down there and the guy is finna jump onto the freeway. So he said, I'm finna jump. So my mother said, what are you doing? She said, I'm finna jump, Bess. I'm finna jump. Now, my mother, being a natural psychiatrist, she knew this guy and she knew that he had serious issues over his property. One of the big beefs at the VA hospital was he don't want nobody touching his stuff. He was always complaining that somebody was going to touch his stuff, somebody was going to bother his stuff. This is genius. So he's telling my mother, I'm finna jump, Bessie. I'm sick of this. I'm finna jump. So my mother tells me, she says, I said to him, well, can I have all your stuff in your room? Right? He gets mad immediately and he gets down off of the side of the freeway and he walks up to my mother and he starts saying, you better not touch my stuff. You better. And they grabbed him and took him to the hospital. Because she knew how to trigger him to get him down. And how she got him down and say, well, when you do jump, I'm going to go get all your stuff. And boy, she said, you should have seen him, Michael. He was so mad. He jumped down off that side of that freeway and he ran up and he started hollering at me about, don't touch his stuff. And that's how she tricked him to get off of because he was on the, they got like a gate, like a fence, where all the signs be up on the freeway. He was standing up there where the signs at, off the freeway, finna jump. He had to jump over, right? So I got this, so I'm a sociologist, a psychologist, and a psychiatrist by nature. It's just something I got from my two parents, I think, mating and having me, and I think they had that natural ability. So I wanted to talk about depression. And to me, depression, I don't like the word because I don't feel like they're given the right definition of depression. Because their definition of depression, and I'm going to show it again, is a state of general unhappiness and despondency, which is not actually correct. You can be depressed and not be, you don't have to be unhappy to be depressed. This is a fact. This is an absolute fact. I'm going to talk about this in my book because I was going through depression and didn't know it until I got out of it. But I wasn't unhappy. I wasn't unhappy at all. If you would have asked me, was I depressed? I would have been like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Because depression is not just unhappiness. That's one aspect of it. But that's not the true definition of depression. And so there is depression that you would never know you have. That's what I wanted to talk about. You don't necessarily know, you will not necessarily be sad. You will not necessarily feel down and out. You will not necessarily be unhappy and be going through depression. You will not necessarily have those particular symptoms. This is an absolute fact. So they need to update that because that's not accurate. That is one of the side effects. But depression has a lot of slight side effects too, and depression is, the side effects can be extremely limited if you're working to survive. So your job and your need to pay your bills can mask depression. You don't have time to be depressed. So there's a lot of people right now, you got to work so hard, the bills is due. You don't have no time to be depressed. You are going through depression, but you're not going to have those symptoms because you got to go to work. And these symptoms of being down and out and stuff, you got to have time to feel down and out. And in this rat race, a lot of times you don't have no time to be down and out. The bills got to be paid. Things got to be done. Children got to go to school. You got to do this. You got to do that. So you will not have those symptoms in a rat race society. That's an absolute fact. That in this society, the amount you got to work and how hard you got to work, you can be going through depression and not be sad, not be down and out at all, because you'll be too busy for that. So there's other symptoms that you would have to look at, which would be hard to detect, because it's hard to detect these symptoms when a person is so busy. It's hard to put your finger on what's going on with your husband or your wife when you got to go to work 8 hours a day, 2 hours and tries 10 hours a day. You're not really seeing them long enough to know anything about them. That's just a fact. They're not even able to know nothing about themselves. So we live in a world where you don't even get to know yourself because you got to go to work. 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 But when Saturday comes, things got to be done because our work schedule is from 9 to 5, and that's when you're supposed to be taking care of business. And so that makes you got to take care of business Saturday. So you're working 6 days a week, 5 days at the job, the 6th day to take care of home situation. Right? Can I do a video on how to navigate the male ego? Ego, if you don't have an ego, how you gonna make it? So I wouldn't know what to say about that because you have to have an ego. All right. So let me look up the word ego. Ego, a person's sense of self-esteem and self-importance. I mean, you got to have that. How could you make it when you don't feel important, when you don't got no self-importance? So no, you don't navigate no ego. You all that. You got to be all that. Well, if you want me to talk about being envious and low-key hating, that's got nothing to do with ego. That has nothing to do with ego. So that would be a different conversation, Black Healthy Organization, because that has nothing to do with ego. So when you talk about doing business, if you're talking about business partners, that has nothing to do with ego. That has everything to do with just business. That has everything to do with business. So that wouldn't have anything to do with ego. Because if we start in a business and there's 5 of us, right? I need all 5 of us to have an ego through the window. I need us all to be hyped up. If you're doing graphics, I need you to think you're one of the best graphic people ever. If you're doing communications, I need you to think you're one of the best communications people ever. Everybody's got to think they one of the best at whatever they do. And so what you're talking about is how to play your position. That's a whole different conversation. So what you're talking about, Black Healthy Organization, is does everybody know how to play their position? I talk about this all the time. Blacks don't know. Black men don't know that. White men do. White men know how to get together, and Jerry is the man, and that's the end of it. And they're all like, Jerry. They want Jerry to be the leader. And then they all want to play their position to make sure Jerry go far, because here's Jerry, here's the business, here's them. And as Jerry go up, the business go up, and they go up. They understand that. They understand that Jerry, whatever Jerry's saying, got to go up so the business can go up. The business is the elevator, and you on the elevator, and you want the elevator to go to the top floor. And so with the white world, 5 white men get in the elevator, and Jerry pushes the top floor. They don't fight for who decide to push the top floor. And they ride to the top floor with Jerry. And they cool with that. They're not like, let me push the button to go to, no. I'm just trying to get to the top floor. And if Jerry could get us to the top floor, Jerry, because now what you want to talk about is being realistic. And being realistic, are you the best person? Or are you trying to be the best person when you're not? And so Black Health Organization, it's like this. If I'm strong, I'm bullhead, I'm really the man. I really can run this company. But I got XYZ in the company. And XYZ got the whole leadership qualities. I feel like I got the leadership qualities. I feel like XYZ got the leadership qualities. All right. With the white world, they're going to put XYZ up there, and I'm going to be second. Because if XYZ got all the leadership qualities and we running the business, the second in command got to be just like XYZ. So I don't have to be first, because we all got to be strong. So it's no problem with me being just as strong as him and being second. That's a buffer zone for the business, because now number 1 and number 2, we're not going. So it makes the business stronger. So now XYZ is stronger with me under him, being the second in command. I don't got to be the first in command. I could be a strong second. That's fine with me. Because the overall is, where's the business going? I don't gotta be the top man. Because the top man got a job, second in command got a job, Third in command got a job. Fourth, advertise. Everybody's got a job. And all those jobs have to be done to the highest level. So why would I be battling with XYZ? Let him do number one and let me do number two. Let me be the best number two ever. He be the best number one ever. Simple. Basically, get in where you fit in. It's all rank and file, and you got to play your position. You got to play your position. So then it gets to the point where, are you interested in the business or are you just interested in beefing? Because you're not supposed to be thinking about me if I'm number one. You're supposed to be thinking about the corporation. That's all you're supposed to be thinking about. You're not supposed to be thinking, why Pharaoh number one? Man, we trying to make the business number one. You got your mind in the wrong place. You're worrying about who number one in the business and we number 10 in the market. We ain't even number one in the market. You're supposed to be focusing on this business. No, you focusing on going back and forth with me. Therefore, you fired, get out. So that's how I deal with ego. If I'm the boss and I start a company and your ego is not the type of ego to raise the company up and you don't want to compete with our competitors, you want to compete with me, pack your shit and go home. You're fired. It's easy. Bye. You're not a good fit. You're not a good fit. I don't got time, bro. I don't even got time to go back and forth with you. Going back and forth with you doesn't help the business. You want to go back and forth. I just want you to go forth. I want you to get out. I can't take away from thinking of the business with you. You're childish. You're taking away from the business. You want me to focus on you, but we got competitors. We got product. We got things we have to do. And every bit of energy I'm spending on you is destroying the business. So that's how you deal with somebody. That's how you deal with ego. Be the boss of the company. And if you ain't the boss of the company and you come in, how you going to be the boss? If Black Healthy starts a company, how can I come into the company and be number one when Black Health started it? I'm automatically number two or number three or whatever number. Who cares? What we doing? Right? So in business, you don't deal with ego. You deal with business. Okay, I hope that answers your question. When you're doing business, I don't deal with ego. I just deal with business. If you ain't talking about business, you got to go. I don't deal with gossip. I don't deal with what you're doing after work. I don't deal with none of that. We dealing with business. If we're an advertising company, coming in talking about advertising. Now, if you come in talking about a bunch of who shot John and who's here and who's there, you got to go home. You got to go. You got to go. You got to get out. And you got to replace it with somebody that can take care of the business. Because that's now, once you get into that, if I'm a CEO of a company and I bring somebody in the company and they start going at me, right? They start going at me and I go back at them. I'm not qualified to be the CEO. I'm not qualified. If you're in a company and you're thinking about somebody else in the company, you're not qualified to run no company. You're easily distracted. So that just means you're not a boss if somebody can distract you. I got boss genes. And I don't mind being the boss, the second boss, the third boss, whichever boss, we're going to boss. And I don't mind being the second boss to make sure the second boss be the boss. Dude is the boss. Get in line. So I'm going to protect number one. I'm going to protect number one. Number one ain't going to never have no beef. If I'm at a company and XYZ is number one, XYZ is going to have no problems. Because if you got a problem with XYZ, come see me so I can give you your walking papers. Because you're not finna step on XYZ. Understand, you elemental P. You elemental P. You're not XYZ. You elemental P. Now, if you don't want to be elemental P, you could be EXIT. And you can get the hell out. Exit. You could be exit. That's on you. We try to make money. I got to send you home as quick as possible so we can get back to the bag. Beef it ain't no bag. You know what I'm saying? So you need to get your mind out of that. You be feeling like dudes be hating on the low. That's then you messing up. Then you bad for the company. Whatever y'all trying to do, you bad for it because you shouldn't be thinking about that. What the hell? Why was you a mind reader? Why is you trying to focus on what they doing? That now you're not showing no leadership. The way to show leadership is if they hating and they don't never see you respond to it. And when they see it don't bother you, don't respond, they'll stop doing it. They'll stop doing it when it don't respond. So we got a company. You come in there, you hating month 1, month 2, you find out nobody respond. Then you get in line. You're like, man, I'm wasting my time hating. Ain't nobody paying no attention. But once you feed into it, you're just as bad as them. Because you imagining dudes trying to hate. It reminded me, I went to music college, right? And there was this white dude, and he had this look on his face. I'm from Chicago, so it's a white dude from like Iowa or something. We had music college, right? So then we had music college, and I'm thinking he a racist or something. But when we had a party and I was backstage, back in the little room DJing with him, he was cool as hell. And then I realized, oh, his face just like that. I was reading his face, but even when he was having fun, his face still looked like a hater. I'm like, oh, he ain't even no hater. How do you deal with folks stealing your ideas? I mean, man, listen, I don't know what you're talking about. That's like all over the place. Keep your ideas to your damn self. Only tell your ideas when they put in line. You ain't supposed to be telling nobody your ideas. You don't tell nobody your ideas. You just put your ideas in motion. You don't be telling nobody, I think we should do this. I should think we should do that. I don't understand. And then, you gave it to them. How they stealing it? You gave them your ideas. When you got ideas for business, listen, whatever you're going through, you just got it. It's on you. It's something up with you. You got a problem. Because if you go everywhere you got a problem, then the problem is you. You ain't going nowhere doing your job, think about your job. You all think about people too much. That's what I get from it. You the problem. You're the problem. Because you making up problems. You say at your job, at business, everybody is a problem. So let's get back to the conversation. Yeah, you the problem. You the problem. Everybody hating on you. And you hating on them for hating on you. So who's the hater? You. You know what I'm saying? You the hater. You know what I'm saying? You are the problem. So look, back to the conversation. So depression is not necessarily something that you'll know. And that's what I wanted to talk about, because what they say with depression is, they're saying depression is something where you feel unhappy, right? You feel down and out, you feel unhappy, and that's not true, right? And so depression doesn't really have their definition of depression. Here go their definition of depression. Their definition of depression, they say depression is of a person in a state of general unhappiness or despondency, which is a part of it, right? So let's say like when your child got a cold, and I say a cold is a runny nose, right? A cold is a runny nose, right? But a cold is also coughing. It could be a lot of symptoms to a cold. So to just say a cold is a runny nose is right, but it's leaving stuff out. So that description of the depression is right, but there's more to it. And depression is not necessarily, you will not necessarily be unhappy when you're depressed, because you have happiness and you have sadness, right? And you have just regular, right? So it's like if you win the lottery, you be happy, right? Well, what was you before you win the lottery? You was just regular. So we don't live no life being happy. We don't wake up. We not walking around just happy, right? Good to see you, Global. So we don't walk around happy. So if I'm not happy, then I'm unhappy, according to them, but not really, because you got happy and sad. But you could be not either one of those. You could just be just going to work every day. You're not happy and you're not sad. So you don't have to be sad to be going through depression. You don't have to, and the fact that you're not happy, happy is a messed up word. Because who in the hell walk around happy every day? Happiness is something that happens based on certain occasions, is happiness. Happiness is a fake word. Because happiness is something that happens, and that's why you laugh or that's why you smile, right? Because your kid came home and showed you, Mama, I got accepted into a college, and then you happy about that. Now, you wasn't happy before they came and said that. You just regular. So I don't agree with the description that, oh, you just walking around and you just happy. That's unrealistic. I've never been busy and had any emotions when I'm busy. When I'm busy, I'm emotionless. When you're cutting the grass, or ladies, when you're washing the dishes, you ain't happy or sad. You washing the dishes. There's no emotions included with life. Life is not emotional like that. Emotions is every now and then. We don't live an emotional life. We live a life based on survival. Survival has no emotions attached to it. There's no emotions attached to being survival. When you're a mother and you got some children, ain't no emotions with getting up, telling them to brush their teeth, getting their clothes out for them, fixing that. There's no emotions attached to them. This is just survival. It's just what you do. And then every now and then, the children will say something or do something that'll give you a happy spark or get you pissed off. Where the school didn't call and say this little boy up here acting a fool at the school. So now you're not too happy with them. So you get happy with them, you get unhappy about how you action, and then you're regular. Where you're not happy or unhappy. You're just mommy. You're just daddy. You're not happy daddy. I'm happy daddy. That's these ideas is kind of not really being explained correctly, right? And so unhappy is not necessarily depression, because if I'm driving my car and I run over a nail and get a flat, I'm kind of unhappy. I'm unhappy when my car breaks. I don't think I'm happy. So the words are kind of like, they don't really use English correctly. So I wanted to talk about this because a lot of depression cannot be diagnosed. They only diagnose the depression that's extreme, where a person's extremely sad or extremely off to themselves, not eating, stuff like that. But there's other depression, forms of depression that's not detectable, even to the point where you could be depressed and not know you're depressed. And in many cases, you will never know you were depressed until you come out of depression. you won't know you're depressed. And I don't want to go into too much because I'll be talking about this when my book come out. So I don't want to go into details on what's going to be in my book. But this is a big part of my book I'm writing. So I don't want to break all that down until the book is done. But I can tell you for sure that not all depression is detectable. And there are forms of depression that you will not know you suffering until you're not. It reminds me of when my father went and they found out he had high blood pressure and they gave him pills to lower his blood pressure. And it wasn't until he took the pills and his blood pressure got normal that he physically knew he had high blood pressure, because he only knew when he didn't have it no more. So some things you don't know you got until you get rid of them. And so depression is one of these things where you don't necessarily know you're depressed. You won't know. You will not know you're depressed because it's not really detectable like that. Especially if you're a go-getter and you're constantly trying to make it in society. And the rat race hides a lot of things wrong with a lot of people. There's a lot of people that's kind of limping a little bit in their leg, but they're so busy going to work, they just keep limping. And it's not till they go and find out they got a blood clot in their leg. And they say, yeah, my leg, it had been bothering me, but you never focused on it bothering you. Because what? You got to go to work. You got to do this, you got to do that. And you just shake off a lot of things. A lot of things you shake off. And depression is a thing that I think somebody's got to upgrade it, which it'll be me most likely. When I drop this book, it'll open a lot of conversations because depression is not detectable from the outside or from you. So in other words, you can be in a relationship and going through depression and your mate don't recognize that depression. Your mate looks at whatever you're doing as maybe you ain't on nothing. And they never think you going through something. So you could be with a woman and she going through depression, but she ain't sad and stuff. And you just wondering why it's just certain things she ain't doing. But she ain't aware why she not doing them either. But her state of mind just got her like that. But it's an undertone. So she has no idea that she's going through depression. And I would go as far to say that probably about 65% of people that's going through depression don't know it and won't know it until they get out of it. That's a fact. Sometimes you will never know you was down and out. Now, there are cases where you're going through this sadness, sometime over a bad breakup or something like that. And these type of situations also are hidden. So when you get out in the world and you start moving around, you're in a totally different world, right? And these things don't bother you till you get alone. And so when you get alone, that's when things bother you. So you could be a woman going through a bad breakup, or you could be a man went through a bad breakup. And long as you're around people, you don't feel that bad. But once you get back off to yourself, that just comes up. And then that just takes over your mind once you're alone. It gets worse when you probably get ready to lay down and go to sleep. And everything got to stop. And your mind ain't got nothing to think about. And then that's like takes over. And it'll hit you before you go to bed, hard, and it'll hit you as soon as you wake up. As I talk to people that was going through bad breakups and stuff, and that's the worst time for them, right before they go to sleep and right when they wake up. And the only time they can get out of that is when they got to get busy. They don't got time to think about it. But when everything stops and they're alone, that's when it takes over. And it beats them down because sometimes it may be a 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Sometimes it's too long. So when you see these men that get to the point that go and unalive their wife, or the wife go and unalive her ex, that's because that's been beating them down and kind of drive them crazy. Or sometimes they'll commit suicide because it's just in their head. And it drive you crazy. And so what you have to do to fight depression and being down and out is you have to always count your blessings. You have to always look at what's going right, no matter what. No matter what's going on, if you're alive, something's going right. And if you just keep focusing on what's going wrong, it will drive you crazy. So the best way to avoid depression or get out of depression is to start thinking about what's right. What's right in your life? You just keep thinking about what's wrong. You don't think about what's right. You don't really be grateful you're alive. You have to be alive for something to be wrong. Think about it. For me to sit here and be worried about what's going wrong, I got to be alive or I can't even worry about what's going wrong. So you gotta look at the good side of life. You can't always look at, what's going wrong. It's the worst way to live. So that would be my advice. Look at the good side of life. My second advice is come to the realization that you ain't the only person. So you're kind of selfish. Oh, woe is you. Oh, you had a bad breakup. Well, you and a few million, you and 30 million other people. So get in line. So when you start putting yourself up over everybody else and your problems is the biggest problems in the whole world, that's not healthy. Maybe if things ain't going so good in your life, maybe go look at some pictures of Gaza today. Maybe go watch some videos of children in Gaza running from bombs and stuff. Maybe that'll snap you back in. Maybe you'll be like, I'm tripping. Look at what these people going through. I'm tripping. So a lot of times you just need to come back to reality. You didn't got far removed from reality. And you ain't counting your blessings. You have to count your blessings. You have to really focus on what's going good. Okay, you broke up with your man. You loved him. He cheated on you. He left. I understand. But you need to go out there and look at all these other men and focus, baby girl. It's a whole bunch of, same for the men. I know she loved you. I know you loved her. I understand. It was the love of your life, all that. But you need to go out here and holler at some of these women out here, you know what I'm saying? And they'll help you fix that. Because I've had breakups, I got 6 children. And I've had bad breakups. I've had breakups that, bothered me. My high school girlfriend, we broke up. It bothered me until I met my first baby's mama. In some kind of way, I was healed, Once she dropped it like it's hot, I don't know. I just felt better. Once I knocked the bottom out of that, I don't know. It seemed like it lifted the whole world. got lifted off my shoulders. I don't know. You know, my first baby mama lifted all the weight off of my shoulders from my girlfriend. I felt so better. I felt great. As a matter of fact, I was like, baby back. As a matter of fact, I think things worked out perfectly when when I look back. I'm like, this worked out actually. Yeah, this works. This worked. So, you know, ladies, if you upset about the last D, a new D will fix it. You'll feel much better. You might just got to calm. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, she dropped it like God. We made it do what it do. That's how I got a baby. I be getting babies out of mine. I don't know what y'all do. I get babies out of it. So I could get in a relationship right now and fall heavily in love and it could go bad. And I know that one of these ladies out here will help fix me. You know what I'm saying? I know there's a lady that'll fix me, and help me get over my depression. Straight up. I know where to fix that. So, I mean, I broke up with ladies that I really loved. And, you sitting there and you're like, dang, man. And then you start thinking, man, I was with her a long time. And I really loved her. And I passed up a whole lot of fine women when I was with her. You know what? I sure did. You know what? I passed up a whole lot of fine women because I was dedicated. And now that I'm free, I need to go revisit all that stuff I was passing up. I'm tripping. I done forgot. I was missing out on stuff, actually. This is my time to go, make it do what it do. I forgot about, she was beautiful. She was fine and all that, but I passed up a whole bunch of fine stuff with her. Pharaoh, don't do the months of prolonged depression. I mean, I don't just run look for a next woman. So I'm kind of like having fun. I don't just run look for a next woman because if I break up with a woman and I love her and I don't feel bad and I feel bad about it, I don't have no problem with feeling bad. So that's why it's not depression. Depression is when you feel bad and you feel bad that you feel bad. But if you feel bad and you accept you're supposed to feel bad, it's just life. And so if I'm with a woman and we really in love and we was married or whatever, we break up and I feel bad about it, what you have to understand is that's normal. And what's going to destroy you is when you feel bad about feeling bad. That's depression. If you accept that that's how you're supposed to feel, you'll be fine. It's the fact you don't want to accept that you're supposed to feel bad and just accept it. That's what messed you up. This was your wife. You might have been married 15 years. You broke up with her. Y'all broke up a couple years. She got remarried. And hey, you're not supposed to feel great about it, but you're not supposed to beat yourself up over the fact you don't feel great. You're not supposed to feel great. So once you accept that you're not supposed to feel good all the time, then you're not depressed. You're not depressed just because you don't like something. If I go to a restaurant and buy some food, I don't like the restaurant, and the food was horrible and I complain for 3 days, is that depression? No. Depression is when you don't want to just accept it. You don't want to accept it. So you're beating yourself up over something. That is depression. That is what makes it worse. That's what drives you down. And then there's other things. There could be other things going on with you. Like your money is messed up and you're trying to make some more money. But the money you was making was way up here and now you not there no more. So you might not even know you're going through depression. There's a lot of different things that could have you kind of down and out without you knowing it. And if you're in a fight, still trying to make something happen, you might not know the effects from whatever happened to you. So working hard and having survived covers up a lot of the ability for you to be able to deal with your mental issues. But all your mental issues, the worst thing about mental issues is when you don't realize it. It's not the mental issues, it's the lack of realization that you have this mental issue. That's what hurts you. That's what hurts you, is you don't realize you're depressed or you wallow in it. If you wallow in it, of course bad things are going to happen. Woe is me, woe is me, woe is me, woe. You just wallowing in it. So that's self-inflicted punishment. That is you depressing yourself. You are your worst enemy. And you depress yourself and you depress everybody that get around you. You just bad news bear. You don't want to let it go. You want to live in that misery. You want to hear my opinion on beating the D and the P? You can't beat nothing. You don't beat nothing. You either realize you don't beat nothing. I can answer that right now. You don't beat nothing. You want to do it or you don't. And it's just that simple. If you want to keep going and watching that, then you're just a loser. How you gonna beat being a loser? There's nothing to beat. Just stop watching it. And if you ain't got to the point where you stop watching it, it ain't nothing you can beat. You're a loser. I can't give you no way to make you not be a loser. I can't stop you from doing crazy stuff. You have to stop yourself. There's no magic. No, I can see men watching it. It ain't nothing wrong with watching that. There's nothing wrong with watching that. If you want to watch that, watch that. But if you don't want to watch it, stop watching it. Don't watch it. And then now you want to stop watching, talking about you addicted. You're not addicted. You just still want to watch it. When you finally don't want to watch it, you'll stop. You're trying to make yourself not do something that you still want to do. So there's no cure for that until you don't want to do it. And when you don't want to do it, you won't. When you don't want to smoke cigarettes no more, you'll stop. When you don't want to drink alcohol, you'll stop. And that's on you. And there's no magic to make you stop doing what you want to do. When I didn't want to smoke cigarettes no more, I was a freshman in high school, I quit because I didn't want to smoke them anymore. And if I would have wanted to keep smoking them, then I would have kept smoking them. Simple as that. I didn't want to smoke them and I quit. And so some people want to do stuff and they want to lie to themselves and say they want to quit when they really don't. You don't want to quit. And men that's watching that a lot, step your game up. You ain't got no woman. Because if you got a wife and you got a woman, you ain't watching that. Because she already like that. She getting out the shower. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't got no woman. You know what I'm saying? That's what's wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Watching that ain't going to give you no game. You ain't got no gift of gab. You can't talk up on no real stuff. So that's why you got to watch it on TV screen. You most likely, you shy. Most likely, if that's what you're doing, you watching that kind of stuff, you shy. You ain't got no gift of gab, and you scared of women. So you got to have her on the TV screen. When a real woman come around, you choke when you see a real woman. You know what I'm saying? So you can push that button and make her bust it down. Now, if you like me, you be like, listen, baby, bust that down for me. And she's like, oh, what you mean bust it down? And you just tell her, bust it down. And she's like, I don't know. And then you tell her, and then eventually she's going to bust it down. She going to bust it down. You tell her, bust it down. And because she can't do nothing if she don't know that's what you want. You know, a closed mouth don't get fed. So you got to open up your mouth and let a queen know what you want. A lot of men, you mad at your woman because you didn't tell her what you want, so she didn't do what you want. And so now you saying you ain't like her because she didn't do what you want. You didn't even tell her what you want. She really did it. You just got to make sure that she don't be trying to make you do what she want just because you making her do what she want. It can't be tick for tack because now she just making you do it because you got requests. Her request should be organic, right? So if I meet a woman, I said, baby, do this and do that. And she said, well, are you going to do this and go that, do that? I'm like, no. Just do what I told you. Because you should have came to me before that and you should have said, baby, do this and do that. You can't say that in response to what I'm saying because now you're doing tit for tat. See what I'm saying? So you're trying to use what I want to get what you want. You're supposed to get what you want on your own. You ain't been with a woman since high school. You pushed her 28. Yeah. There you have it right there. Kind of step your game up. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get with a woman. There's plenty of women out there. There's women out there, men passing up. She a little pudgy and stuff, but she's sexy. You can get with her. She fall in love, take her to the gym. They see her 3 years later. She fine as hell. You done built you a star. You may go out there. There's women out there get with you, but you ain't pushing the line. Go out at some women. Get off the internet. You 28 years old. You 28 years old. Come on now. $28. Shoot. How many kids I had by the time I was 28? 28, I gotta think back. 28, I think I had 3 kids by then. I think. 27, 28 is a good age. 27, 28 is a good age. But you're lame. I mean, I ain't trying to disrespect them, but you slow. You're supposed to be trying to knock something back at 19. What? You know, Big Pharaoh's getting confused. What? Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, whoa. You trying to knock it back. You trying to knock it back as a senior, I thought. Now, you ain't trying to have no baby. And you might not be trying to have no baby at 19, but you're trying to put a baby in something at 20. I don't know. You're trying to knock it back, all the way back. I don't know. 28. By the time you get 28, your child's supposed to be 7. Man, by the time you're 28, it'd be cool to have about 2 by then. Maybe 3. I'm confused. Hold on. Let me see when my kids was born. Hold on. When my children was born. Okay. I'm born in 58, 68, 78, say now 80, 81. So I had my first child 23. I was 23. 23. 24, 25, 26, 27. Then I had my next child at 28. Then I had my next child at 31. So I don't know what's going on. Then I have my next child at 33 or 34. Then I have my next child 6 years later at 40. Then I have my last one at 41. So I had my last one at more like at like 39. I had my next one at 41. I had my last baby at 41. I got 6 children. What y'all doing? What y'all doing? Y'all ain't knocking nothing back, huh? Listen, I need to be single. I need I need I need I need to be single. I need to start the knock it back committee. Ladies, if ain't nobody knocking it back, holla at your boy. I need to. I don't know what's going on with these young brothers. Ladies, if he not knocking it back, holla at me. Holla at me. These dudes, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I guess they listening to the system. He say, we trying not having children. Not we, you. Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. I don't want to hear no we. What about you? You don't want to have no children. Speak for yourself like a man. What's your name? A to B toes. Speak for yourself. You trying not to have no babies. Just say that. Why are you doing what you doing with the we stuff? What you mean we? Speak for yourself. Yeah, you talking about we. Speak for yourself. You said just say you're not trying to have no babies. And tell your woman, holla at me, I give her one. Tell your woman if she feeling that mother that need to be a mother, come holler at me. I give her one since you scared. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about y'all. Come on, man. We try not to have no babies. What? I don't know. I ain't really with that. I'm not really with the new weirdo kind of stuff. I'm not with the weirdo generation. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really with that. Yeah, I ain't with the weirdo generation. You know what I'm saying? Brothers ain't got no revolutionary concept. Because when you let another man have all the babies, he could put the army together and come conquer you. You know what I'm saying? So what you're saying is you want another race to have the babies, put his army together, and then conquer you. Because you can't defend yourself if you ain't got no soldiers. So if you ain't having no babies, you ain't got no soldiers. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got no soldiers, how you going to defend your nation? And so if another race outpopulates you, they could put you into slavery. They could do whatever to you because you ain't got no boots on the ground. So when you think in terms of revolutionary concepts and military, how can the black man say he don't want to provide no future military to defend our nation? So this is why they trying to work with abortion rights, saying they want it to be state to state so they can make sure the white states don't have abortion and the places where it's blacks, those areas do have abortion. So they want to set up abortion from county to county, where the white counties and states, no abortion is illegal. And where black folks and Hispanics live, abortion is legal. Because, see, don't tell me you're trying to get money because you can't get no money without no babies. So you got a towing service, but you can't tow no cars if you ain't got no men to drive the tow trucks. So if you ain't got no men, you ain't got no towing truck company. You ain't got no company if you don't got bodies. So can't nobody run no game on me and talk about getting money with no babies. You can't get money without no babies. You ain't got no babies, you can't get no money. So a brother go out here, build a big company. Then he don't have no baby. Then he pass away. Where the money go? Okay, let's say you go by what you're doing. You don't have no babies. You work, you get rich. You get 40, you meet a woman, you start sleeping with her. She'll never get pregnant. She'll never get pregnant. You go to the doctor, say you infertile. All right, what you gonna do with all that money? What you gonna do with all the money? You ain't got no sons to pass it down to. Where your money gonna go? If you work your butt off to build all this generational wealth, how can you have generational wealth with no generation to pass it to? So you just working for nothing to give it back to the system. You're gonna pass away, the money gonna just sit there, and they're gonna come take it. There's nobody to claim this. Or your brother got some kids, and your brother's kids gonna get the money. Which, that seems stupid. What's my thoughts on having a child at 50 years old? If you plant-based and take care of yourself, you have a child at 50 years old. If I had a child when I was 50, my child would be 17 right now and not finna be a child no more, because I'm finna be 68. So if I had a child when I was 50, my child would be going to college right next year. What's wrong with that? A few years after that, my child be grown. My child don't need no daddy no more. My child will go to college, right? So if you figure 50, you figure my child go to college. By the time my child go to college, I'll be 68. By the time my child graduates, I'll be 72. My child don't need me when they get out of college. How's that a bad thing? That my son or my daughter get out of medical school and I'm 72. How's that a bad thing? And then they go have some babies. So now I got grandbabies. How's that bad? Now, if you're eating a bunch of pork and not taking care of yourself, I guess so. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So on that note, if you want to have children get older like Big Pharaoh, you know what I'm saying? Go follow me on Vegan Intel. Go follow me on Vegan Intel. Subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We'll finish the conversation in a minute. So I would say, I would say to ladies in a generation where a lot of these men, they say they don't want to have babies, they don't trust marriage and stuff like that. I would say to a lot of ladies in their 20s, from 20 to 30, I would say y'all finna have a bad life because these men, they not gonna want to have no babies. You're gonna be with him, y'all both gonna be in your 20s. He's not gonna give you no babies. He's not gonna commit. He's gonna get 40, 45, he's gonna start panicking. He's going to be 40, 45, 48. He's going to want children. He's going to want children, but not until he see his life passing. Then he's going to go try to get somebody in their older 20s and 30s and have a baby by her. So you're going to have all these men in their 40s having babies by women in their 20s. And all you women that's 40 like them, they're going to be them passed y'all by. So they're going to be them passed you by under false pretense they don't want to have no babies. And then they're going to turn right back around and have babies, but by younger women, once they realize they're going to pass away and not have no lineage. So they basically frauds, ladies, because they're not going to stand on that till they get 60 years old. They ain't going to stand on that. Every black man that ain't gay, that's out here saying he don't want to have no babies, is lying. He don't want to have no babies right now. But there's no way he gonna live his life and not want no babies. He lying. So now the women his age gonna suffer. He gonna do them dirty because he gonna turn around and do to a younger group of women what he said he didn't want to do. Like women get to a certain age where if they ain't got no babies, they start missing that mother thing and they be wanting a baby. They wanting to go to doctors or whatever to do scientific stuff just to have a baby. So any man tell you that you don't want to have no babies, he only speaking for right now. He lying. It ain't no way that man gonna go to 60 years old and not have no seed. He lying. He lying. He gonna want to have a baby. Period. He not going to want to do all that work and have all that stuff but don't have nobody to pass it down to and not have no children. He lying. Ain't nobody want to live their whole life, ain't got no generation, ain't got no children, ain't got no grandchildren. Yeah, he'll get a younger generation of you and then have babies later in life. Exactly. 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 So when I see a man don't want to have no babies because he talking about the economy, to me, he a coward because he don't want to go fight the economy so he can have babies. So to me, them is cowards because you're supposed to be out here fighting the system to make sure we got money so we can have babies, to make sure that the laws work in your favor. You know, you're supposed to be out here fighting to make it be right, but you won't give up. And say, no, Pharaoh, the system beat me. We don't want to have no babies. And those type of people always be like, we. They always speak French. They can't stand on it. They always say, we don't see it like that, OG. We don't this. I'm just talking, it's just you. What you mean we? What you mean we? What you mean we? You a coward. You don't want to have no babies. You a disgrace to your great-grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, your grandfather. You a disgrace to your race. Boy, that's what we did. We had babies. If they didn't have no babies, you wouldn't even be here to not have no babies. How you was a baby, but you don't want to have no babies. And if nobody didn't have no baby, you wouldn't even be here. You know how selfish you got to be? To have been a baby, to have been here living your life because somebody else had you, your mother had you. Your father impregnated your mother, and now you don't want to do that? You know how selfish you got to be? And then when you got this type of selfish generation of young black men, guess what? They can't compete. So when you got a brother don't want to have no babies, he's selfish. If he's selfish, what that mean? He only out for himself. If he's out for himself, but white men and Asian men are willing to work together, is those businesses that these brothers want to start, are they going to be successful? No, because they're being built with a selfish mind state. If you look at black business and you look at white business, black business is now young men is like, we don't want to have no babies. We want to save our money. We want to make money. We don't want to get married, right? White businesses, we want to have babies. We want to have a wife. We want to build businesses. We want to pass this stuff down to our children. That's the difference. With white Americans, it's about having babies and money and wives. It's all a part of their whole system. You can't go over there and talk about no babies. You talking crazy. In white America, here in Chicago, you know, when you get certain jobs in Chicago and they want to move you up corporate, they want to come over and see your wife. They want to come to dinner and meet your wife to make sure your wife got that corporate mind state. So when they send you to Japan, they want to make sure your wife is a rider. They want to see your children. They want to see who they giving these bonuses to. And they want to give these bonuses to families. They ain't really checking for you in white American corporate if you ain't married. That's a fact. They ain't really checking for you. Listen, I be outside for real. In white America, they ain't checking for no white man that ain't got no wife and no children. They not checking for you in corporate America. They just not. They might give you a position. They'll hire you if you could do the job, but you ain't moving up in the top echelon if you ain't got no children. Unless the company is founded by like some gay people and stuff, then yeah. But if it's just the typical white American businesses, oh no, it's all based on family. They have family functions at them at them jobs. It's all based on family. Like, what's up with your wife? You know what I'm saying? See, when I used to drive Uber, I got a lot of game because check this out. Because I know people wonder why I tell you I drive Uber, because there's knowledge in this. Listen, I'm a hustler. So Uber was beautiful for me back then when they hired too many drivers, you know, it wasn't no more money. But with Uber, it's like this. If you're a boss like me and you're a businessman, the regular Uber drivers, they get up in the morning. They get up, they start driving 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. They don't make no money. Me, I didn't go drive Uber. I didn't go downtown till 7 o'clock. I wasn't downtown in the day. I wasn't downtown at 5 o'clock rush hour. Because how you going to make money when you're sitting in rush hour traffic? So because I didn't get downtown Chicago till 7 at night, all of the low-level workers is what? At home already. So if I'm downtown Chicago at 7 o'clock at night, who am I picking up? Bosses. Because the bosses don't get to work at 9. The bosses get to work at 10, 11, and they don't leave at 5. They don't leave till 6, 6:30, 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock. So the people I was picking up, I was only picking up bosses. The employees that went home already, right? So you picking up bosses. Because I'm a boss, because I'm a businessman, I had everything set up for that. I'm giving y'all a game. So my radio was set up where, you know how your radio, you push a button and go to a station. So I had all the stations set up. I had the black station set up if I got to pick up some sisters or whatever getting off work. Then I had the basic party stations like B96, you know, that play the basic new pop music. Then I had the jazz station. Then I had the classical station. Then I had the news and the stock market station. So depending on who I picked up, that I pushed the button so when they get in the car, it fit what they own. So when they get in the car, I either have the news on or I have the stock market on or I have the classical music on. right? So when they would get in the car, you know, I'm at work like this. This is how I drove Uber, right? So the driver, I look just like them, professional, right? I would turn the stuff down real low and I would be ear hustling. And I would hear conversations like this. Hey, babe. Hey, that white guy calling his wife. Jerry told me to tell you and the kids hi. Look, babe, listen. The boss is coming by Friday for dinner. Please, baby, make sure everything is perfect. Please. He's considering me for this position I've been wanting. And he's coming Friday. Everything's got to be perfect, okay? Find out where we can order this type of champagne. Find out what you're going to cook. Let me know what you're going to cook. I'll be home in a minute. I'm on my way now. I'm in the Uber right now. Babe, please, you cannot mess this up. So what's going on with that conversation? What he's telling his wife is he's going to move up in a higher position. These corporate companies, right, they're doing international business. So they're doing business not in American time zones. So the people they got to call for business, they might got to make a call at 2 a.m. here for it to be the right time in Japan. So these white dudes and these women, when they get on, they got to set their alarm clocks because they might got to get up at 1:30 in the morning to call England. They got to call these other countries at 9 a.m. that country's time, no matter what time that is over here. Now, before they move up once they move up in these high positions, because they're doing international trade and all that, they got to fly a lot to other countries. So the boss wants to come to the house to make sure what? That the wife is the type of wife that's not going to be a pest when her husband got to be gone. They trying to see if she the type of wife that could make it without her husband being there, because he got to go to Japan, then he going to come back, then he got to go to England, then he going to come back, then he might got to go to Russia. So the boss, before he picks Jerry or Tom or Bill, he going to each one of their house to make sure which one got the best family situation that allows the husband to do the job. In other words, the wife indirectly works for the company. She has to do whatever necessary for her husband to do for the company, because he probably finna get $250,000 a year, $500,000 a year with this new position. In some cases, $1 million, $1.5 million a year for this new position. This ain't no $250,000 a year job. No, this is a job with perks and all type of stuff. So they have to come to check that out. Now, when they come to the house for dinner and they meet your wife and they meet your children, those children is a plus, because now your boss is kind of unofficially their uncle. So they looking at everything that they doing for you benefit your wife and your children. This is how white corporate America functions. Everybody's included. And so they're going to make sure that your life, that you got enough money to do what you got to do. Now, in some cases, I picked up men or women where it was too corporate. It was deep. I picked up situations, I'm giving y'all a game, where it was the husband and the wife was both corporate. And, as a black person, it was just tripping me out. We don't hear these type of conversations. So, like, she'll get in a car. She got on a business suit with a skirt. This is why I be talking about women, how they got to dress and carry themselves. I would pick up these white female bosses, like, high position at these companies, you could tell. And when she get in the car, she got on a skirt suit, a long skirt, like right over the knees. It's still kind of tight and fit. It looks good, but it looks executive. She got on a female executive suit, laptop. She get in the car, she don't say hardly nothing. I turn the radio down. She open up her laptop. She get to working. Because I remember I asked the lady, I said, so you're on the internet? She was like, yeah, she had something on her phone, like a hotspot, but it wasn't called a hotspot. It was something else. She had something from her company in her phone where she could go. I was tripping. You all right? That just show you we slow. I was tripping that she was on the internet doing like corporate work in the car. So they would call their husband and they'd be like, where you at? And they would have like somebody there at the house with the children. If one of the children is old enough, then the oldest child is there, right? She on her way home, so she'll call Mark. Did your sister get in there? Okay, mommy's on her way now. Boom, like that, right? So then she'll call her husband and be like, where you at? And he'll be like, he in Berlin. It's like, you in Berlin? So she'd be like, I got to go to England. And he's like, when you got to go to England? He said, she's like, I got to go to England this day. He's like, well, I'll be back. I arrive in New York this day. She said, oh, that's great. I'll meet you in New York before I go over there. So they flying and they meeting at other cities as he come back home and as she going overseas, they meet for a date in New York. I'm tripping. My mother worked for the VA and for the drive boy. My dad was a bus driver. So this is talk I ain't never heard before. They like, so we'll meet in New York. That's how they dating. We'll meet in New York. And we'll stay 2 days, and that way you'll be there, and then I'll be home with the children like that. I'm like, dang. And the children, like, if the son, like in high school, he got to be like grown. Listen, he got to be like grown. Like, he got to do everything mommy and daddy tell him. That's why by the time he go to college, he driving a Porsche or something. Because the kids got to be bosses. So mommy and daddy can go get that money. And then when you drop her off at home, you drive out to most of them live in the west suburbs. And you drive out there and then you get off the freeway. And you know how it is. You get off the freeway. Everybody in Chicago know I'm talking. You get off the freeway and then there's nothing kind of there. And then you turn and then you see like a little town with a little, like, Irano's pizza and stuff like that. And then you'll turn and then you'll go up into a neighborhood. And then the houses is crazy, right? Big old houses. Crazy. And you drive down, you drop her off, and you can tell this is where all the money's at. All the money's at. And then I'm quiet. I'm minding my own business. I got everything perfect for them. It smells good in there. I got the perfect radio down low. I got everything perfect. So when she get out, she go in her purse, she give me $50. She give me $150, right? With the regular whites and the regular people, they tipping me on the app. But with the bosses, they're like, you were such a great driver. I really appreciate it. Sorry about, me on the phone at work. And I'm like, no, when you get in here, this is your world. Do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? And me, I still would kind of be black. I'd be like, do what you got to do. You a boss. You out here getting it, right? I would decide if I wanted to talk professional 100 or if I wanted to say something How far away is that from the inner city? It could be a 35-minute drive, a 45-minute drive, or a 50-minute drive. Because there's no traffic, because they go home in the nighttime. And then a lot of them, Anthony, okay, a lot of them I don't get to take home. Why? They had a special meeting. They take the Amtrak to town, so I have to take them back to the train station where their car is parked in their city. So some of them I don't get to take them home. I have to take them to their car because the last train be done left. So the last train be done left downtown Chicago. So I got to take them not to their house, but some blocks away from their house to the Amtrak station. And you can see it just be like 5 or 6 cars left out there. The train ain't running no more. So I made a lot of money like that, taking them to their cars or taking them to them suburbs. So that's why I went to work at 7, because that was the big money. That was the big money. So I wasn't making little boy money. I was making big money, big tips, long trips. And I didn't mind driving 45 minutes out there for that big ass tip and that money. I jump on the freeway and fly back. I'm back in the mix. I ain't losing nothing. I was getting paid. I picked one white dude up. He was a boss. He said, "You mind if I stop at Walgreens?" I said, "Ain't no problem." So I stopped at Walgreens. He went in Walgreens. He came out. 2 black dudes, street dudes, ran up on him. I jumped out. I can't go into detail because it's YouTube. I jumped out on the brothers like They seen it was a real one. They stood down. He got in the car. He said, "Wow." He said, "Wasn't you scared?" And I was like, "No, it's like rank and file and stuff like that in the city. They wasn't on nothing. They was just petty, like petty thieves and stuff. They're not really that like that." So he said, "So you didn't mind risking your life for me?" And I told him, I said, "No, when I got out, it was their life was the one at risk." Well, so he said, "Listen, after we started driving," he said, "you're an excellent driver. Your car is extremely clean. You're 100% professional." He said, "Listen, how would you like to be my driver?" He said, "I'll pay you he wanted to pay me like 350,000, 400,000 a year." He said, "Whatever kind of car you want to drive me around with, it'll be yours." He said, "I got a house, I got a house behind my house. You could live there for free. So all you just making money and you get the free car. And all you're going to do is take me wherever I got to go and all of that." And I took his number. But, my queen at the time, I know she wasn't going. I knew she was. If I would have been single, I would have got that bag. Because he said, not only are you a great driver, you like security and you're professional. You know what I'm saying? He said, whatever you wanted. It could have been a Jaguar, whatever. It would have been mine. I could have lived in the house behind his house. And all I had to do was be on call. And he said, it's not going to be hard being on call because I be out of town a lot. And all you got to do is be at the airport when I get back. And he said, "You 100% professional, so I'm not worried about my wife, my children. You the type of guy would never talk to my wife." I said, "You already know, don't you?" He said, "Yeah, you're the type of guy I could trust you." Because he said, "You put your life on the line for me." I said, "No, I put their life on the line." Okay, I put their life on the line. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I put their life on the line. I was straight. Okay. I'm straight. I'm Big Pharaoh. I didn't tell him that part, but no, I'm straight. I talk the language they talk. They know this Chicago. They already know. Okay, G. Okay, G. Yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. I was 50. I was in my 50s anyway. Okay, yeah, okay. I know it's okay. You know what I'm saying? got him home. It was big money. I made a lot of money. I made a lot of tips. I made a lot of money. Why? Professional. I didn't talk till I was talking, till they talked to me. I drove professional. I went and got my money. But I was able to learn. I was able to ear hustle. So I was able to see how they get money. And they get money in corporate America, and they get international money, and they do international business. Because I used to have to take them to these international events they would have at these convention centers and make money. I learned a lot, doing that. And I taught too. I taught bosses. I picked up this one boss because I would work in the morning. So my shift was I would get downtown at 4 in the morning. I get downtown at 4 in the morning. I park in front of where all the big hotels is at, right? And then Uber, they got a destination feature. So you could, before you turn on the app, you could pick your destination. So I'll put O'Hare Airport, which means when I get a ride, it's going to give me a ride that's headed towards O'Hare Airport. But you got to understand at 4 in the morning, ain't nobody going nowhere but bosses, because they got to be on that early flight to get to New York or San Francisco. So I park at the hotels 4 in the morning, set my app, destination O'Hare. As soon as I turn it on, it go ding, ding. I pull up to the hotel. They come out with their luggage. When I push go, O'Hare. I jump on the freeway, take them to O'Hare. There's no traffic. So I'm at O'Hare in like 22 minutes. So it's 4:05. I'm at O'Hare before 4:30. I'm back downtown before 5. So I get 3 runs like that. Then it's going to be rush hour. I go home because you can't make no money in rush hour. How you going to make money if it take you an hour to get somewhere? But I'm doing this and back, this and that, this and back. Originally, I was making double because Uber was allowing us to pick somebody up. So I would drop a boss up, pick a boss up, drop another boss off, pick them up. So I would get like 6 rides, but they messed up my money, had it down to 4 rides. But I still make 200, like 200 in the morning from 4. By the time it get like 7 something, I'm through. I go home. I never worked in rush hour because how you gonna get money sitting in traffic? So I would be picking up bosses, business people. So I picked up this one boss. I'm taking them to the airport in the morning. And it's like my last run because it's starting to be traffic headed to the airport. There ain't going to be much traffic coming back. But, everybody try to get to the airport. So I'm driving. So he in the back. So he said, let me ask you something, buddy. I said, what's going on? He says, how do you deal with all this traffic? He said, I hate traffic. That's what he told me. So I told him, look at it like this. I said, you see all this traffic? He said, yeah. I said, if you got a restaurant or you got a business, what do you want coming in your business? You want traffic, right? He said, yeah. I said, how could you have traffic to your business if it ain't no traffic outside? I said, this traffic is the reason you're in Chicago. This traffic represents money. He said, my God, I never thought of it. I said, if you ain't got no traffic, you ain't got no money. You ain't got no customers. This Chicago, I love traffic. If there's no traffic, we ain't making no money. He says, my God, I never thought about that. You know what? Buddy, you're smart. You know what? I love traffic. He said, I love traffic. I never thought about it like that. I said, no traffic mean no money. This traffic is beautiful. This mean money. This money. Look at all these people. This is money, bro. He gave me like $25 tip. He said, I got a whole new outlook on life. Ain't no money to be made. That's why New York that's why New York got the most billionaires. Would you tell them, Goshen? New York got the most billionaires in the United States. Why? Traffic. If you get money, we love traffic. We love traffic. So traffic didn't bother me. He like, how come you're not upset and frustrated? Bro, I'm not paying no attention to traffic. I don't pay no attention, bro. I just get in the car, I get in the traffic, and I drive whatever speed I could drive, and I'm going to get there when I get there. I'm not, oh, God, move the car. I can't make no money like that. That's too frustrating. I'm in the car because he was like, why are you so calm? Bro, I don't care about no traffic. And this ain't even a lot of traffic. I still got him there in like 30, 35 minutes. There ain't no traffic. If I would have picked him up at 9, it would have took almost an hour to get there. So he didn't even know, bro, this ain't even no real traffic. That's why you in the car. Because we up before everybody really wake up. Because this had to be like 6:50 or something like that. I'm finna drop you off on you the last ride. Because if I don't get back, if I don't leave the O'Hare and get back to downtown before 7:45, 8 o'clock, I'm going to be in hella traffic. Because everybody got to be at work at 9. And by the time it's 9, you know, I'm at home, my queen butt naked in the shower. You know what I'm saying? By the time, you know what I'm saying? So we can do what we got to do before she got to go to work. She got to go to work too. So no, I'm not finna be in the traffic. I'm finna be in something, but it ain't finna be traffic. You know, I'm finna be in a woman. I'm not finna be in traffic. I got to hurry and get back. You know what I'm saying? And go to sleep so I can come get my money because I work 2 shifts. You know, I work 4 to 7:30 and then 7 to like whenever. If it got too late and I'm out there getting money and it's 2:30, I go to North Avenue so everybody know, oh, he ain't lying. I go to North Avenue to the Starbucks with the Walgreens across the street. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Park in front of the Starbucks. They used to be open 24 hours. Go to sleep in the car, right? Pull my seat back and go to sleep because this is Starbucks, it's a Walgreens where all the police be, so nobody gonna bother me. Give me a little nap from 2:30. Then my alarm go off at like 20 minutes to 4. Go in Starbucks, get my coffee, get downtown and like, I'm only on North Avenue, downtown in like, 2 minutes and get me a couple $100 that morning. Then go home and go to bed and do what I got to do. And then 7 at night, back downtown, and get the money. So that's why I lived. That's why I had my apartment right there on 31st Street at Prairie Shores. That's why I stayed at Prairie Shores, because Prairie Shores right here, McCormick Place right there. You know what I'm saying? So I could get downtown, I could wake up at home, jump in my car, and be at work in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and get my money. It's the way you hustle it. That's why I always tell people I work Uber, because I'm telling you to hustle. I didn't work the worker's Uber. I wasn't out there a day driving people around for $7. I didn't do that. I did the hustler's version. And I picked up bosses, because who you going to get the most tips from? Then I had like a box. I had like a plexiglass box. I had it full of these vegan suckers. And then on the back, it's money. So the box would be stuffed with money. It's a box, and I had it stuffed with money. It would be money in there and change. Then on the backside, it would be lollipops. And so they get in there, they want a lollipop, and they feel like, so they put money in the box. So what I would do is I would take all my money out the box, but before I went to work, I would take a bunch of ones and fold them up and stick them in the box. So the box already got money in it, right? But it's my money. They don't know that. They ain't going to put no money in there if it's empty. But if they get in there and there's money in there, they're going to feel obligated because they're going to feel like, well, everybody else put money in there, right? Hold on. So I'll put like a $5 bill at the top where you can see it, and I would stuff like ones in there, right? So now when I pick them up, they see his money already in there, so they feel obligated to put a $20 bill. I put like a $20 bill. I put like a $50 bill in there, a bunch of ones and fives, but I make sure the 50s and the 20s where you could see them because they're like, dang, somebody put 50. So somebody would put 100 in there, right? And then the mothers would get in, and all the kids want the suckers. So when they take the suckers, they put $5 in, they put whatever. And I was getting money, with the suckers. You know what I'm saying? It was a hustle, right? Let me give the candy people some props right quick. Let me get them some props because I made a lot of money with them. Let me get them a little advertisement because they was just beautiful. Let me get them some advertising. Where do I have it at? Vegan something. Here we go. Let me give my people some props. They help me make so much money. Oh my God. Much love to Yummy Earth. Yum Earth helped me make so much money. They're the best lollipops, organic, 100% natural. And they just look beautiful sitting there in the little money box in the front. And I had a lot of $1 bills and $5 and $10 bills with these in the car. I made a lot of money doing that. So we're a little off subject, but I think I could help people with this conversation. Yeah, these was the greatest. If you got children, get these. Very tasty. And they look beautiful. I'd have them sitting there with the lollipop sitting up, and they're like, ooh, because at night I'm picking up, young white kids going to concerts and stuff or whatever, like teenagers, young adults, like in their 20s and stuff. And so they all grabbing them, and they say, how much are these? I'll be like, they're free. They're like, oh, okay, well, they put a donation in the thing because they was free. You could grab them for free. I didn't care what they cost pennies. I'm out here getting bread. What do I care about some free suckers? So it was free. You didn't have to pay nothing. But because it was a box with the money in it, you know what I'm saying? Because it was I made a lot of money. Let me show y'all some game. Oh, this ain't the one. Where's the one? Where is the one I bought? Well, I don't see the one I bought. But this will give you a pretty good idea. Here it is. Here we go, right here. Yes, indeed. I need to save this because I might have to talk about this again. Boy, I be giving y'all a game. Make sure you make sure you donate because nobody's gonna go this far to tell you any of this. Make sure if you're driving for Lyft or Uber, make sure you get this, okay? Have this in your car right there between the seat. Right there between the seat. This is not like the one I had, but kind of, sort of. This is the closest one. This could make you hundreds of dollars a week on top of your money you get. This could add hundreds of dollars to your to the money that you're making, okay? When I say hundreds, I'm not kidding. You can make hundreds of dollars with what I'm getting ready to show you, added to your income. And everybody else looking at you, but you really getting it because you're making sure you pick up people at the best situation and you're making sure that you're maximizing your money. And this helped me maximize my money. So I had one like this. The only difference is the tall part didn't have the top on it. The top was on see the front and see that top on the one in the back? The one in the front had the top on it, and then the one behind it was the same height as that one without a top, and it had the sucker stuck in it. So if you cut the top of that back ones off and you put that lock and that in the front, that's how mine was. So the lock and stuff would be in the front on this short one. Then the back one, cut that the same size, and that would be an open top. And I would have all the suckers sitting in there so you could see the suckers and you could see the money in the one in the front locked. And I had that right between the seat and I was in like a new Camry, right? A new white Camry. And then I had all the suckers that would be the back. This top part would be the back. Or you could spin it around. Let's spin it around the other way. And the one with the lock on it would be the front, but it would be the same height as this one. And then this one would be the one in the back, would be the one that had all the suckers in it. But flip the other way, and this one wouldn't be so high. They'd both be the same height. But so you flip it around, and I would have the part up where I'm at. That's where the money's in there locked. In the back, where people sitting in the back, the suckers is sticking out of there. I made a fortune doing that. And this one with the hole in it, I would slide a bunch of ones in there to make sure that they be stuffed up so it looked like a lot. And then I would put a 5 in there and a 20 and maybe a 50 or 100. So it looked like somebody tipped me, but it would be my money. And then people felt obligated, so they would stuff it with way more money. Yeah, it would be right there where the little armrest thing is in between, that empty space in between the front seat and the other seat. And I had a strap. It had a strap on the bottom of it where you could strap it and pull it so it wouldn't move. So it strapped on, so it didn't move. Because they had a strap, went through some holes in the bottom, had a black strap, and you could strap it in. You could strap it in. And I'm sure if I searched long enough, I could probably find the exact one I used to use. I made a fortune. Those things made me hundreds of dollars. I made hundreds of dollars with that. No kid. And then what I would do is, like, when mothers would get in and they get to a destination, had children, I would say, get them some candy because I don't want to give it to them. And the mother would get them candy, and I would tell children, don't ever take nothing from strangers, okay? Your mommy giving you this candy. You know what I'm saying? But don't y'all take nothing from strangers. So I would tell the mother, get them some suckers out there. Cause I didn't want to give them the suckers because that's bad to teach children that. So I would tell the mother, get them some suckers out there. And the mother say, tell them thank you. And say, thank you. I'll be like, okay, but y'all do me a favor. Don't y'all take nothing from no strangers. Make sure mommy give it to you. Boom. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they say the best Uber driver in Chicago, when you used to call me for Uber, my statement was the best Uber driver in Chicago. Everybody be like, you ain't lying. Because I was the only one who knew how to move around there. You know, if anybody be down in Chicago, you know, if you on Michigan and you got to get to those hotels that's upper, you got to know how to drive to get up there. You can't just get to the Radisson. You have to really be a boss on the streets to know how to get from Michigan Avenue to get to the Radisson. Because you got upper Wacker Drive and lower Wacker Drive and all of that. So if you don't know how to hit them corners and know how to drive, you can't get them there. You got to know the shortcuts to get them there. Because I take them, they said the last driver got lost doing this. Like the last driver, not me. Go here, turn right there, turn there. You right there. Like, how'd you get here so quick? I know what I'm doing. I go turn right there by the water tower. Boom. Turn at that first street right there. When you pass the water tower, make a right. Then go around that circle and go, and you up top. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be under. You know, you're going to be under and you ain't going to know how to get up there. You know what I'm saying? You got to really know how to hustle. Yeah, on the armrest, you make a lot of money with them. And being courteous, I didn't flirt with the women. I never tried to flirt with no women. I never tried to talk to no women. I had women flirt with me, but I always played it off. I picked up a white lady and her daughter. The daughter was like in her late 20s, and the mother, I don't know how old she was, and I took them to the hotel. They said, you need to come in with us and have some fun. I said, no, thank you. I appreciate it, though. Y'all look good. The mother didn't look good, but I told her, you look good, too. You and your daughter, y'all look beautiful. Y'all been taking care of yourself, but I can't. I'm at work. But I appreciate the offer, though. Y'all have a good night. And she, boom, okay, well, here's $20. I said, now you understand? You got to pay to play. Thank you, ladies. Y'all have a good night. Welcome to Chicago, because I knew they wasn't from here. Ladies, you crazy? You think I'm finna come in there and mess with you and mess up my hustle in there with you? What is you? Well, I'm player from the Himalayas. You got to know how to get from Lower Wacker Drive to Upper. So if you right there on Michigan, you go right there to where you where you get to the Suntime building and stuff, and you make that first right turn when you're going north. And you make that first right turn at that hotel that's right there next to Michael Jordan's restaurant. And when you make that turn, you're going to see some hotel there. Then you're going to go around a circle. Then when you go down, you're going to be right there where all the other hotels is at. You're going to be on the upper part. And all you got to do is turn back and go the same way. And then you're going to be back on downtown. You ain't going to be on the upper part. Because you got upper, downtown, and lower when you go over east. It's a maze back up in there. It ain't just lower, it's lower. There's a higher, and then there's regular. So you got the regular, you got the higher part. Over there where the Lowe's Theater is at, back in there, there's a higher part where you go up. Right there behind the Suntime building and stuff, east, you go up. And there's hotels and apartments and condos back in there, and that's up. So you got that, then you got the regular downtown, then you got lower, Thomas. It's 3 levels. A lot of people don't know how to get from that upper one back to regular downtown. Because right in that area, it's regular, lower, it's regular, upper, and lower in that area. Over east right there, where you go on Lake Michigan. It's 3 levels right there. And when people get on that higher level, they don't know how to get back downtown. Because that higher level going to take you to Lower Wacker Drive, but you still ain't going to be back downtown. You're going to go from over back downtown to under downtown. You have to get back to downtown. You got to know what you're doing. So look, to end this conversation, like depression, if you feel like you're going through depression, you know, if you want to go get professional help, it might help you. But the main thing you have to do is you have to deal with yourself when you're alone. You have to deal with yourself when you're alone. And you have to look at what's going good in your life. And you got to stop exaggerating saying everything going bad in your life. Everything is not going bad in your life. Because when everything goes bad in your life, you don't have a life. You understand? You don't have a life if everything went bad. So if you got a life, you can make it. So it's like if you go to a pond or you go to a lake and there's fish in there and you got a fishing pole, then you can catch some fish. And so when you're in the world and there's money out here and you're alive, you can get some money. But you can't get nothing if you start wallowing in your sorrow and start over-exaggerating how bad your situation is. This is why some brothers go to prison and ruin their life, and other brothers come out and do exceptionally well or do well. Because all the power is right here. Your mind is real powerful. And your mind can what I want to create. Your mind can create any type of way you want. Healthy eating and water helps the sight too, right? Healthy eating always helps because health is wealth and you can't get no money if you're sick. So the key to getting money is you got to be well. You can't be sick. So if you don't feel good, how you going to make money? If your stomach is upset, you always got a headache, you always got a cold, you always got a flu, it's always something wrong with you, how you going to get money? Studies have shown recently that the people that get the richest is the ones that live the longest. Because if you invest your money in stocks, who's going to get the biggest return? The person that's sick and passed away at 50 or the person that lived to 70? So your investment does better with an extra 20 years on your life, extra 40, 50 years on your life. So you can't really get no money. Like you can't go and hustle if you're sick. You can't work if you're sick. You can't get no money if you're sick. How? If you're sick, can you play in the NFL? Can you play in the NBA? Can you be a star if you're sick? No. No. Can you go to work if you're sick? No. You're going to lose money. And if you can't get to work, they got to replace you. So now you out of a job. So if you're not healthy, you cannot get no money. The healthier you are, the more shots you can take. So a guy on the basketball court for 2 hours can't shoot the ball as many times as a guy on the court for 12 hours. So if you're in the game to get money, the healthier you are, the more shots you can take to get the money. For example, let's say you live a unusual life, a very interesting life. You don't take care of yourself, you pass at 50. But let's say you me and you live a very interesting life and you take care of yourself at 60, you can write a book about your life and get how much money? Because now you can let a large portion of your life can happen, and now you can document that and you can sell it. Now you can document that. It could be a film. But if you pass away, somebody else got to make the money because you ain't even here to tell your story because you passed away early because you let them tell you that was old. When old is 100, you're supposed to live to 120. And you pass away at 50, 60, you pass away at 60, that's only half a lifespan. Somebody told you, oh, people try to tell me I'm old, and really I'm middle-aged. 60 is middle age. In real life, if you're supposed to live to 120 years, that mean middle age would be 40 to 80 and old would be 80 to 120. Y'all say old is 50. Why? Because you got a short life expectancy. You ain't exercising, you ain't taking care of yourself, you're not eating to live. It's affecting your money. You moving in a house, paying a long mortgage, and passing away right after you own the house. By the time you own the house, you in the hospital. They got to move you out the house, say you can't take care of yourself in the house. They got to move you to a care facility for elderly or to a nurse home because you can't be in the house by yourself because you can't take care of yourself. See what I'm saying? Because you ain't take care of your health. You bought this house for nothing. Imagine you don't take care of yourself and you're going to pass away at 68 and you retired 65. So you did all that work and you just to live 3 years. Do that make any sense? Does that make any sense to work and get retired 65 and pass away at 66? You know, sometimes pass away at 55, pass away at 49. You understand what I'm saying? So anything you do, you got to be positive. So when I was driving Uber, I used to talk to some of my guys, and they would be like, "So you working for Uber?" They thought it was something negative. I said, "No, I don't work for Uber. I'm an independent contractor." He didn't understand what I was talking about. Now he was living somewhere struggling, couldn't pay his bills, house falling apart, but he kept wanting to downplay it, and he wanted because just by the name Uber, he wanted to paint that like that was something negative. And I keep telling them, no, I don't work for Uber. I'm an independent contractor. When you work for somebody, they tell you when to be work or whatever. With Uber, you go when you get ready. You go when you get ready. So I had an LLC. I was working under LLC when I was working for Uber. So when the pandemic came, I filed for the pandemic money because it affected my business, and they gave me $8,000. They gave me $8,000 for driving Uber because it affected my business. And my business, I was an independent contractor, and Pharaoh as a driver is an LLC. As a driver, I'm an LLC. But he couldn't understand that because he in this European world, he don't understand business. I'm like, bro, I don't work for Uber. I'm an independent contractor. And if it wasn't for them hiring a bunch of people, I was going to get a black truck or something. I was going to drive Uber Black, who making them dudes making $3,000, $4,000 a week. I was just doing the regular Uber. I was going to move up to Uber Black. Them the ones taking these people to the Bulls game and to the basketball and football. They making money. When you see them black vans and them black trucks and them black cars picking up people, they making money, lots of it. Yeah, whatever you call it. I think that was the PPP loan. Yeah, I got $8,000. I paid mine back. You didn't have to pay it back. All you had to do was show them where you spent it at. You didn't have to pay it back. You didn't have to pay it back. All I had to do was put it in the bank and pay my bills with it. And then when it was time, send them my bill, send them the proof that I paid bills with it, and they forgave it. They forgave that money. Because I used it like I told them. I didn't scam. I used it and paid bills and stuff with it. So that allowed me to just chill. I ain't care nothing about no pandemic. Well, no pandemic for me. It was all good. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? I did what they said did with it and filled out all my paperwork. I didn't do no scamming. I didn't try to get 30,000, 50,000. I showed the real amount of money I make, and they said, okay, you eligible for this $8,000. I said, well, run it. I got what I was eligible for. I didn't scam. I didn't try to get 50 grand and all that. I ain't lie. You know what I'm saying? I kept it $1 billion. I'm a businessman. I did real business. That goes on my record. If I ever go back and apply for another loan, it's going to go right through because they're going to look, oh, Pharaoh, oh, yeah, he all good. Give it to him. So I can go back right now and say, hey, I need 30,000. They're going to give it to me. Yep, you in good standings here. It's business. Scamming is not business. Scamming is scamming. Business is real legitimate business. You want to do good business with the city, the state, and the government. You want to do good business. You don't want to do bad business. If you're a businessman or businesswoman, so I was getting money. It was working out great. And you have to be confident. You know what I'm saying? That's why depression ain't no good. Being down and out no good. You have to gather yourself. Okay, you got evicted. Now you homeless. Boom. That's all bad. They might even set your stuff out. And when you went to try to get a truck and come back, people that stole your stuff. Okay, you got to charge it to the gang. Now, you have to focus. You can't be like, oh, man, I'm homeless, man, that people stole. You can't do that. It is what it is. Focus. How do I get out of this situation? The situation had already happened. Being depressed and down out ain't going to do nothing. I got to focus. Yes, there's depression trying to creep in, but what stops me from getting depressed is my energy to try to get out this stuff. That my energy to get on my feet is going to be greater than the down negative energy on what's going bad. Once you deal with the energy on what's going bad, you going down in the gutter. You got to use the other energy. You got the bright energy to come up, and you got the dark energy. Woe is me. Oh, it's all messed up. Oh, my life. You can't get nowhere like that. So me and another man, we both end up homeless. He woe is me. He tripping because he homeless. Me, I'm homeless too. I'm looking for services. I'm on the move. Boom, somebody told me go over here on Wacker, go to this building, be there at 9. They got services. I'm there at 8:45. I'm in line. I go in, I see Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson say, okay, fill out right here. Boom, I'm going to contact you. Boom, I set it up. She can contact. Boom, she told we got your apartment right here. I'm back in the apartment. The woe is me dude, super homeless. Me, 2 weeks later, I'm in an apartment with some program and I'm back rolling. Because I didn't do woe is me. I did. I got to get out of this predicament. Period. You got to get out of the predicament. Bad breakup, what you going to do now? You got to get out of that. Bad breakup. Okay, you lonely? Okay, find another man. Find another woman. Or be happy with yourself. But you can't sit and wallow in nothing. It is what it is. And anytime something bad happened to you, look at all the other bad stuff. You'll feel way better. Go look at Palestine. And I bet you'll feel better. You're like, well, I could be over there. So your situation don't really be bad when you compare it to other people's situation. When you take the bad things happening to you and blow this stuff up, it don't even be real. You're making your life worse than what it really is. Your life, it ain't even that bad. It ain't even that bad the way you making it, especially in the United States. You're in the United States and you trying to act like your world is the worst in the world. You crazy. You ain't in none of these countries in Asia or Africa or nothing like that. But they got countries in Africa where people doing real bad over in Sudan and stuff right now. And you tripping with all these opportunities and you wallowing in how bad it is. So that's why, your mind is real powerful. You can't be down on yourself with your mind. And that's why people be unaliving themselves. Because they just let stuff go round and round in their head. And they just keep doing it until it drive them crazy. You just keep thinking about that woman you broke up with and that she's sleeping with your friend or she's sleeping with somebody else. And you just keep thinking about that, keep thinking about that, keep thinking about that, driving yourself crazy. Well, you need to be trying to get you some money and focusing on what you need to do. Sometimes you running around trying to replace them. So now you're getting another relationship you don't even want to be in. You just jumped in this relationship trying to get over the other relationship. So you don't even like this person in this relationship. You just try to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta think positive all the time. That's why I be saying positive energy what? All the time. That's not just a saying. That's really real. You really have to be positive. You can never let like negative dark energy beat you down. You can't let dark energy beat you down. Because it will. You can't do that. I don't care how bad it gets. You cannot be letting positive energy beat you down. Because now you're living in a fake world. Because you looking at people that's doing better. And now you down and out with all these people over here doing worse. Why are you looking at the ones doing better? Why don't you look at the ones doing worse? And be like, well, at least I'm doing better than this. Let me pick myself up. Okay, you messed up. Boom. Next thing you know, you in a one bedroom, right? You in a one bedroom. You get all your stuff in there. Now you beating yourself up. But every night you could go to bed comfortable. You was warm. You can eat. And you tripping because you want a 2 bedroom or you want a house. You ain't lost your damn mind. You better get your ass in that studio apartment and make you some damn money. Is you crazy? What? So you want more, so you're not happy. So like if you can't handle it, stay away from people if you're gonna get around people that's gonna look at you and hold and look down on you, stay away from them. Stay away from people. If you're going through something bad, you ain't doing that good, stay away from people that's going to make you feel worse. Stay out to yourself. And don't try to front on people that you're doing better than you are. Don't tell them nothing. You got 3 things you could do. You could tell them how bad you're doing. You could pretend you're doing good, or you could shut the hell up. I pick shut the hell up. Don't tell them nothing. Why is you telling people how bad you're doing or why you lying about how good you're doing? Don't say nothing. It ain't none of their business. And put the pedal to the metal and be like, okay, how can I get out of this? And when you think how you can get out of it, it's not going to just pop up like, this is how. That's not how it's going to work. You're going to find a little job here. Just go do that job. That's it. If you got that little job, go do that little job and stack everything you can from that little job and buy your little food and eat your little food and watch your little TV and do that. And if you put your pedal to the metal and you go to that little job and you just survive, another door gonna open. Another door is going to open. Facts. Because This is how life works, y'all. This is deep. You better listen. What you want is right here. You down and out. This little door open up. It ain't nothing, but it's all right. You got to go through that door. Once you go through that door, you're going to be walking. You're going to look like you barely make it. You're not living that good, but you're going to walk so far, and then it's going to be two doors. Then you're going to go through one of them doors. Then you're going to be walking. It's going to be a little bit better. And then when you walking through that door, it's going to be this door. And then when you go through this door, things going to go pretty good. But if you didn't go through that door, then that door, you would have never seen this door. So now things going to go pretty good. What do? Do you start acting a fool blowing money? No, you keep your pedal to the metal. And then you go through that door, and next thing you know, another door open, and you pop it. But that's going to be based on your work ethic. You don't work, you don't eat. There's people right now, content creators. And those of us that's content creators that's really working, they end up doing well. That's really making content, that's really taking this like a job, their whole life get turned around. Why you think everybody's running to the internet? Why you think all these big movie stars and all these big athletes? Why you think Cameron and all these rappers, why you think they're on the internet? Because it's a bag over here. But now it still get back to your work ethic. Is you going to get up and make it do what it do? Are you going to put the pedal to the metal and make it happen? But all that woe whiz me, it's always something bad going to happen. So that's why I don't be posting a lot of rest in peace and stuff like that. Like, I'll be feeling sorry when somebody passed away, but I don't post no whole bunch of negativity because I don't see what good it's going to do. I don't post no whole bunch of negativity on my social media because I don't see what it's going to do no good. When somebody passed away, I feel sorry they passed away, and that's the end of it. I don't wallow in somebody that passed away. I'm trying to stay alive. I ain't got no time to keep talking about you passed away for no week or two. You passed away. That's unfortunate. Rest in peace. I feel sorry for your family. Your family already got to wallow in it. So why would I turn around and wallow in it? That's right. A2B toes. Work, and stack, and look for your next opening. How could you take all your, okay, like you working, you got a tow truck. What you want that to be is a fundraiser. You don't want that to be the money getter. So you got to look at that. This is a fundraiser. I'm getting money, but it's a fundraiser. So now I'm stacking this money, and I'm looking at how I can invest this money to make some more money. So now they want to buy fancy clothes. You like, no, I don't want no fancy clothes. They want to go run around. No, I don't want to go run around. They want you to go tow trucks all day and go on a fancy trip. No, I don't want to go on a fancy trip. I want to stack my money, live comfortable, and figure out how I could take my profits and make profits off the profits. How could I make $30,000 extra dollars towing, and how could I take 10 of that and turn that into 30, turn that into 40? That's how you everything is a fundraiser. I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow. Your job got to be a fundraiser. You're raising funds to what? Pay your rent or where you live, pay your bills, buy your food, survive, and possibly make some more money off of that money. So you want to take $20,000, flip that to $40,000, and then pay something out that $40,000, pay 10 out of that. So you took 20, turned it into 40, paid stuff, and got 30. Then you did it again, now you got 60. Then you did it again, now you got 90. And still paid everything. So by the time you do come outside and have fun, you're having a whole lot of fun. You got $100,000 in the bank. Hell yeah, the party was popping. It was great. It was a beautiful thing. For you, the person that was there took their last money to go to the party. They didn't have as much fun as you did. They didn't have as much fun as you because they going from pillar to post. You want to pass up 20 parties to have a nice fun at a nice party, but especially black people, y'all don't want to pass up no party. Y'all want to live from paycheck to paycheck, from paycheck to paycheck. And for a man, when you're in a relationship with a woman that run around too much and she don't budget, that's the worst relationship in the world. She don't budget. She always run around. Like. 1 minute she kind of down and out because shit got to be paid. Then as soon as she gets the money, she getting her nails done, her hair done, buying stuff, running around. Then back to work Monday. She down and out. She get another check. Now she can't do all that because she got to pay bills and stuff out of this check. And she looking for whenever she can get some free money to go jag it off. So as soon as you meet a woman and she too busy and she want to do too much, dump her. Dump her. Because y'all going to be from paycheck to paycheck mess with her. Y'all ain't going to never have nothing. And when you from paycheck to paycheck and something happened, now you broke or homeless or whatever. So what it is something's going to happen. So you want to save your money, $2,000. 4,000, 8,000, 10,000. Something gonna happen. Gonna cost you 3,000. Bam, 7. Breathe. 9, 11. So. Something gonna happen. You done got up to 20. Something gonna go happen. You might go back down to 15. If you would have been messing around, you would have been up and down and up and down. Because something gonna happen. And you're going to have to break off some bread for something. So you want to save, stack, save, stack, save. You don't want to have fun, stress. Have fun, stress. Most of these people that's doing all this fun having, their life is full of stress. And I know men that got with women and they did save money. And they did. She divorced him, took half of it anyway. She got so much child support, so much alimony. He back broke. He back Dame Dash with nothing. He back to Dame Dash. Why? Because he did all that foolishness. And the more money you got, the more money they going to charge you when something go wrong. They're going to hit your pockets. Because you're out here clowning. So you can't get depressed no matter what. Hurricane hit the house. Boom, the first thing you got to do is thank God you're alive. Man, I'm glad I'm alive. And then you go from there, oh, I'm alive. I could give me some money. Well, how you feel, man? You lost the house. You lost everything. I ain't lose everything. I'm alive. I ain't lose everything until I'm not alive. I'm good. That's how you just got to be. You got to charge it to the game. Charge it to the game, brush yourself off, and get back in the game. Because being down and out is not going to help nothing. Welcome to life. Poor you. You're the only one. And people's under floods and tornadoes everywhere. But all of a sudden happened to you. Oh, my God. Oh, tornado tore up my house. Houses been getting torn up. Hurricanes, tornadoes, lava. Storms, floods. Welcome to the party. Hey, are you in the real world or you not? You ain't been paying attention to everybody else's grief that is like here today and gone tomorrow. You got to be a rider. It's the only way you're going to make it. I don't care what happened. Depression ain't the way to go. People that's down and out is because they never seen that that's life. They think it's not life. They think what happened to them is they special and it ain't supposed to happen. Because you looking at the people with nothing happened to them and something happened to you and you like, why me? Because you ain't looking at all the other people and say, why not me for all the other people that bad stuff happened to? You ain't looking at that. That's why you easy to get depressed. Because you only compared yourself to the people that good stuff happened to. You ain't comparing to yourself to the people that bad stuff happened to. You looked over them. So something bad could happen to you. Your friends look down on you because you fell bad on your luck, right? You work, you get yourself together. 3 years later, one of your friends fall bad on their luck. Now they all depressed. You know why? Because they didn't really look at it when it happened to you, and they would have known that was a part of life. So when it happened to them, they would have been ready for it. But when it happened to you, they didn't care. They didn't understand that it could happen to them. In some kind of way, they tried to look down on you because you had a bad turn of luck. Yeah, man, Pharaoh used to be doing good, man. He ain't doing nothing now. Next thing you know, you ain't doing nothing now. I got friends got a whole lot of money. I got one friend, he made a lot of money with us in the street. He done had 8 cancer surgeries. After all them surgeries, he had to go back. He told me he had to go back. They had to do another surgery again. I ain't even talked to him to see if he even made it through that. His whole life with his body and everything been hell. So all that money and stuff he made, all that stuff almost gone. He got some property that he could sell that he don't want to sell, that I need to call and tell him, man, you need to sell that stuff. You barely alive. What is all that stuff worth now? You took care of everything except your health. And then your health took everything away from you. Everything you working for, if you eating garbage, ain't taking care of yourself, your health gonna take all that stuff. All that stuff, you don't take care of your health gonna make you broke. You ain't gonna have nothing. Your insurance is not gonna cover that. Your insurance only gonna cover some. And it's gonna take all your money because you thought that money was greater than your life. And if you don't take care of your life, everything you got gonna be taken from you. You can get another house. You know what I'm saying? You can't get another heart. You can't get another stomach. You can't necessarily get rid of cancer when you sit up here and ate all this trash and then try to do the best you can to be cancer-free. You just thought, I could eat what I want to eat. Oh, man, look how great I'm doing, man. I'm drinking champagne, I'm eating, man. I'm eating lobster, man. I'm eating. Next thing you know, you out of here. Look at Dame Dash. Dame Dash is one reason he broke, because of his health. When you look at him and he talking about he diabetic and all that, and you look at him drinking all that champagne out there clowning, you could see that Dame Dash is an idiot, that he didn't take care of his health. He was out there popping tags, showing off, doing everything other than really taking care of himself and really humbling himself. He didn't humble himself. He looked down on people. I remember he used to brag about wearing a t-shirt white once, wearing a pair of socks once. Just really disrespectful to other people. Now, how you supposed to feel when he tell you I only wear my t-shirts once? Bro, why would you say that in front of hardworking people that can't afford to do that? I wish I interview him. I'd make him cry. You been foul, been negative for the community. Dame Dash been negative. Been careless about other people struggling. Been making people feel like they was less than, that he was so great. Yeah, he been negative. I ain't never liked dude. I ain't never liked Dame Dash. I'm popping tags. There ain't no way to talk to your customers. He actually got on the media and tell his customers he doing better than them. I'm doing better than you, but buy Jay-Z album, buy Cameron album, buy these albums I'm putting out, even though you're not doing good as me. That's basically what his message was. His message was, I'm doing better than you, but go buy my stuff so I could take my money and turn around and tell you I'm doing better than you. Tell me I'm lying. If you selling music, you selling it to people that don't got all that. Why would you get in front of your customer base, and show them how you living better than them off of their goddamn money? All that money that he was bragging about was from people that couldn't buy t-shirts every day, couldn't buy socks every day, couldn't buy a house like he got, couldn't get on planes like him. None of the people that he got his money from. Dang Dash got his money from people that he's saying he doing better than. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Everything he bragging about, he got that money from people that can't live like that. That's where he got all his money from. So when them rappers take money from regular people and get on stage and say they doing better and you ain't doing this, they foul. They whole message is foul. Because all your money came from the people you looking down on. Your money did not come from rich people. You ain't sold no million records to no rich people. You sold it to hardworking regular people. Then you turn around and tell the people that spend money with you they ain't nothing. They ain't doing as good as you with their money. Jay-Z and all them. They all foul. They all got rich off of regular people money and throw it back in your face how great they doing. And then when the hood want to rob them, you say the hood is bogus. You say the hood is bogus because they want to gun clap you and they want to take your chains. And no, they not. How they bogus? How they bogus? You said they ain't nothing. You said they ain't nothing. You got your jewelry store. The watch is $160,000. So the shorties in them smash and grab it. All right, how they filed? The watch $200,000. The watch $800,000. How they filed for taking it? It's a watch that you saying they can't get it. I don't know. How they file? How they file for you selling something you know they can't never afford, and all that money is made off of them, and all them diamonds was taken from starving Africans that ain't got nothing right now. And the diamonds, you smashed and grabbed the diamonds. You went to Africa and smashed and grabbed the Congo and took the diamonds. You didn't get the diamonds legitimately. So now you put these expensive diamonds. Now these people come and smash and grab the diamonds. You're going to say they foul for taking stuff that was taken the foul way. All them watches and stuff wasn't done. That wasn't done legitimately. If that was done illegitimately, people in the Congo would be living great. People in the Congo living horrible. You take all their diamonds, you living good, and then somebody come take it from you, and now you saying they horrible. When they doing the same thing you did to get this stuff. As a matter of fact, you did worse. Make it make some sense. So this is why I'm not really in the algorithm like that. If y'all don't support me, ain't nobody gonna support me talking this. I'm the bad guy on YouTube. I'm the one person they don't want nobody to watch. Even other YouTubers don't want nobody to watch me because it make their stuff obsolete. I don't want nobody watching me because I ain't pushing all them religions and all them weirdo beliefs. I'm keeping it a billion. So I don't really got no lot of support like that. You don't be seeing none of these talking heads hollering at me like that. You know how many brothers' philosophies I'm ruining? You all don't know, but I know. So it's like depression. Man, you can't do depression. You know what I'm saying? You got two choices, live or don't live. So if you're alive, pull your pants up, pull your skirt up, and get out here and survive. You ain't depression, I'm not with it. So if you came to me and I was your psychiatrist and you was depressed, I'd tell you snap out of it. That would be your therapy. Listen, you depressed for nothing because don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. And you got two things. You're going to live or you're not going to live. And when you don't live and you don't take care of yourself and you pass away, they're going to come and they're going to cry for 1 or 2 days and then they're going to go on with their life and ain't nobody going to care. So, all this going out here, unaliving yourself, don't never unalive yourself. You got value. But stop looking for value in other people. You have to have value in yourself. And there's so many people depressed and down and out because they feel like other people ain't got value in them. So then they devalue themselves. Like you got to have value in you. You can't be expecting nobody else to have value in you. If there is a God, if you believe there's a God gave you for you, then you don't got you for nobody else. You got your lungs, your heart, your brain, your stuff for you. So you have to value you. You can't base yourself off of how somebody else value you. Did they create you? Did they give you the eyes to see? Did they give you ears to hear? Are they the reason you could talk? Did they make your fingers? Did they make you as a being? So at what point do you need anybody to value you? That concept is messed up. Value yourself. And if you feeling bad and you feeling things ain't going that good, get in line. Stop living in a fake world. You and a billion other people. Keep it real and you'll feel better. If you listen to me, you'll feel way better. And you'll be like, he right. It's a whole bunch of people messed up. What am I doing? Why am I acting like I'm the poor me? No, ain't no poor you. It's a whole bunch of people not doing so well. And as of today, I tell people all the time, if you feel like things could be better for you, look at Palestine. Look at what them people went through. Look at the Sudan and look at some of these places, what these people is going through. And think to yourself, how do they push through? I'm going to tell this one story, then I'm going to end this. One time I was watching a documentary, right? This blew my mind. And they was over in East Africa. This was back 20, 30 years ago when they used to have those bad famines in Ethiopia. So they went to Ethiopia and they showed this famine. And they showed this real skinny lady from famine. And she had a baby and the baby was bony. And they didn't have no food or nothing. They had a famine, right? So I'm going to give an example. Let's say they've been in a famine for 18 months. So it's been a famine in 18 months. She ain't had no food. And she had a baby. But the baby was only 2 months old. So I was like 2 or 3 months old. So I'm like, okay, they've been having a famine 18 months. The baby 3 months old. You add 9 months with it. That's 12 months. So I said, so after 6 months of famine, they were still having sex? So think about it. If you take when she got pregnant and had a baby, there was still 6 to 10 months of famine before she even got pregnant. So I started saying, wow, with no food or nothing, they were still having sex and she still had a baby. That shows you how powerful humans are to survive. Because imagine somebody having a baby getting pregnant in the middle of a famine and still trying to raise the baby. And I just never forgot that. I was like, that's really powerful. That natural instinct to survive. Because she could have just not had the baby and just gave up. Said, there's no food. I don't want to have the baby. But she still had the baby. She was still trying to feed the baby. And for all I know, that baby grown and healthy now. So it's like, no matter what you're going through, your mind state got to be to get out of it. Don't beat yourself down. And what makes depression so bad is when the main thing that makes depression bad, in my opinion, is when you feel like it shouldn't happen to you. I think that makes it the hardest to get over depression. When you don't want to accept that it could be anybody, and you start thinking, why you? That's the worst mentality you can have. That's going to keep you depressed until you look around and see how many people is in that situation and be realistic. But when you personalize it on you, that my life, that's not healthy. If you came to see me, the first thing I would try to get you to see is this is not just your life. This is a lot of people. So stop personalizing and get back in the game. This has no reflection on you. You understand? This would make you depressed when you put it on you, like it's just you. It's not just you. This is common. And once you realize these things is common, you say, okay, this is common. Let me work my way out of it. It ain't no need of me beating myself up for something that's happening to millions and millions of people. Now I can see if everybody in the world had a great life except you, then I'd be like, yeah, I see where you coming from. I feel bad too. But in a world with so many people having so many problems, you gotta open up your mind. So now you never accepted other people's problems. That's why you so down and out. You overlooked everybody else's problem. So now when it's you, now you can't take it. Because I know people say, they had a bad mother, had a bad father. Okay, how many people had a bad mother and bad father? As a matter of fact, your mother and father might have had a bad mother and a bad father, but you don't want to consider that your daddy didn't have a good mother and father, that your mama didn't have a good mother and father, so you selfish. Because you're mad at your mother, but you don't want to humble yourself and say, well, mommy ain't no bad. Mommy didn't have it good either. And when you look back at foundational Black Americans and you look back at slavery, who had it good? That's why I ain't like the color purple. Because the color purple didn't do a good job showing what was wrong with dude. They just made dude look like he was just this evil black man. I think Oprah and them had a beef with men. I don't think they did a good job to show why he was like that. He wasn't just like that. He was a victim of slavery. So they made it like, oh, he was just this mean guy out of nowhere. No. So I don't believe they really took time. They took too much time to show how mean he was to the ladies. That's what Tupac said in this movie too. He said, show them why I'm a Muslim. Just don't have me no Muslim. Show them why I changed. Show them why I got out the streets. So it's like I had friends that didn't have good parents and stuff, and it haunted them. And I try to tell them, man, listen, your parents didn't have good parents. You got to let that go. You can't carry that into your children's life. You got to let that go. You got to accept that you was just another person like all the other billions of people that had bad things happen. It happens. You had a bad family. This one had a hurricane get rid of their family. This one lost their family in a tornado. This one family got cancer and left. It might not be the same circumstance, but a lot of people got a bad story. So you can have a bad mother that don't do a good job, You could have no mother that passed away from cancer. What's the difference? Either way it goes, it's a bad situation. So what are you going to do? So I think a lot of depression comes from selfishness and not looking at the world open-mindedly and painting your world like it's like you the only one. Oh, woe is you. Your mother passed away. Now you having a fit. And people's mothers be passed away every day. So yeah, you're going to miss your mother, but how far you going to go with that when you already know people pass away? You're going too far. Yes, my mother passed away, my father passed away. But let's be realistic here. My father passed away. His mother and father passed away before he even got grown. So at least he was here for his children longer than, he was here when we got grown. But his mom, my grandmama and granddaddy on my father's side, I never met them. They was gone before my father got married. So let's put this into perspective. So when my father passed away, at least we got more than he got. He didn't even get his father to live that long. So how down and out should I be? And I got children. How much can I cry over my mother and father passed away and raise my children and deal with my grandchildren and deal with my wife and deal with my situation? How much can I put into that? Rather looking at the bright side that I'm here and grandchildren is here and look at the bright side. Stop overhyping the dark side. Yeah, it's dark stuff, but I just don't like the way people hype it. They always hype the negative over what's going good. And this is why we got so much mental illness and so many people depressed and feeling sad. Because you constantly hyping the bad part, which is disrespectful to life in general. Because you ain't never really looking at the good side. So that's not cool. To like, here's the good things in your life. Here's the bad thing. You take the bad thing. Oh, the bad stuff. Oh. And the good stuff, what? You just take that for granted. You're going crazy because your mother passed away and you ain't happy that your babies is alive. And it's like, okay, I understand your mother passed away, but you got children. You're not. So you're more depressed over that than you are happy for your children? Like, make some sense. You just you can't be sending your mind through all this turmoil and you got children. You're doing too much. I remember I picked up a lady. I went to a lady's house. I was taking her some stuff. And she came and got in my car. She was an older sister. I was in my 40s and she probably was in her 50s. So she got in the car. She was just really crying. They're like a friend. I took care of them so much. They become like friends, like family. She got in the car. She was crying. So I'm like, what's wrong? And she was like, I said, what's wrong? She said, my mother passed away. So I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You know what I'm saying? I understood it. You know what I'm saying? She was crying a lot. So I said, how old was you? And she was like 98 or something. And I was like, see, I didn't like that. You crying like that and your mom was 98? You're not being realistic. So I'm thinking, well, how long you want her to live? To me, that just looked crazy. To me. Because now you're not being realistic. So how long you want? I mean, you lost your mother at 98? You didn't really lose your mother at no 98 because you didn't need your mother at 98. So you really didn't lose nothing because your mama was 98. So if your mother would live to 110 and pass away, you would have lost your mother. Like it's ridiculous. Okay. Now Instead of you celebrating the long life of your mother and saying, my mother just passed away, but she lived a great life, man. She lived to be 98. You crying. You a grown-ass lady. Ain't got no husband. And all this got something to do with it. And you boo-hooing like that for your mother that passed away at 98 years old. That's when it gets ridiculous. Now you're being foolish because you really don't have no real reason to be crying like that. Because you're supposed to be crying because you're gonna miss somebody, and I don't know how you're gonna miss somebody that's 98 years old. I don't know how you're gonna cry like they should have still been here. How? So how long she would have to live for you wouldn't cry? Like, make it make some sense. And you're a grown-ass woman, you that attached to your mommy like that? As old as your ass is? Okay, you just doing unnecessary emotional trauma. I mean, my mother passed away far too young, in her 70s, from cancer of the uterus. And then my father passed away when I started doing lives, and he was in his 80s, right? And so when my mother passed away from cancer of the uterus, the thing is this. My mother was sick. My mother was going through cancer treatment. At one point, I went to my father, and he was like, Bessie ain't eating. And I went and got her some ganja cookies and gave them to him. And I seen him. He said, she eating up everything. But when my mother was gone, she was gone. If I was going to really cry, I would have cried when she got the cancer and had to go into the hospital, to be honest with you. If it was sad way before she actually passed away, to be honest. When the cancer began to debilitate her body, that was when it was sad. It is just a fact. And so now when she's in the hospital and I seen her the last time and I was leaving, she said, Michael, come here. And I went and she said something. She was so sick. I just wanted her to rest. I don't know what she said in my ear. She was so sick, I just said, okay. Because I didn't want her straining herself, trying to tell me whatever she was trying to tell me. Feel me? And so people say, wouldn't you want her to know what she wanted to say? No, I wouldn't have traded my concern for her to rest just to know what she was saying. I feel like I made the best decision. Mama, okay, whatever she said, it wasn't important what she said to me. What's important is what I said to her. I said, okay, whatever it is, because that's the answer. Relax. But I didn't know she was going to pass away, and then I never seen her no more. From a long battle of cancer. So what am I supposed to do? How realistic am I supposed to be? You said depression is fake. It only matters for people when they have a weak mindset. That's brutal, false, and all of that. Depression is real because people have things they really go through. And what you said, Driz, is totally disrespectful, and you don't know what you're talking about, okay? I got to delete your comment. And you come back tomorrow because with that type of mentality, this conversation, I can't help you. I can't help you. Because what you're saying is totally ridiculous, okay? Totally ridiculous. You don't know what you're talking about. That's totally disrespectful because depression is a real thing people go through. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm trying to help people deal with it. I'm not trying to tell them that it's something that they could just blow off. Depression is real. You know what I'm saying? Depression is real. You know what I'm saying? And some depression, you don't even know you got it. Because I went through depression. But that's why I keep saying what they be saying depression ain't, because I didn't know I was going through depression. So I didn't know I was depressed until I wasn't depressed no more. And I was like, damn, I think I was depressed. I think I was going through depression, but I didn't know. So that's my only beef with what they say about depression, because everybody does not know that they're battling depression, because depression is not just sadness. And I don't want to go into details till my book come out, but depression is not just sadness. And depression is not always uh, analyzed, right? You don't always see it. You see something, but you don't know it's depression. So people could be acting a certain way, but you would not really know it's depression. So I was acting a little different, but nobody would have knew it was depression, including me. Nobody would have diagnosed me with depression because I wasn't sad. And I was still just doing what I could do. But there was certain things that was different, but there's nobody would have known it. So depression is not always obvious, and it's not always getting sad. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. That's the main thing I wanted to point out, that what they say depression is not really true. That you could be going through depression and there be no signs of it. Right? Let's take a break and then we'll finish. Yeah, you could be going through depression and you won't necessarily see no signs. This is a fact. Okay, y'all support the channel. So if you're a person that works hard, grind to survive, go to work all the time, you could have depression and not know it, because working can hide depression. You understand? So if you're working, like if you're a woman, let's say you're a single woman and you got a child, and every day you try to take care of your child. Every day you got to take your child to school. You got to pick them up. You got to make sure they this and that. They call mine for this and that. You could be going through depression, but you won't know it because what? You're too busy. You can't afford to be depressed. You can't afford to live out a life of depression. And so survival hides a lot of depression. So a person like me, if I go through depression, I ain't going to know it because I got to go get it. Bills got to be paid. Food got to be on the table. Mortgage got to be paid. Rent got to be paid. Car insurance got to be paid. Phone bill got to be paid. Internet got to be paid. Hey, you ain't got how you going to be depressed? Your mind is not even free enough to be depressed. And so for a lot of people, My diagnosis is a lot of people have like about an hour and 45 minutes of depression right before they get ready to go to bed. Right? So, right, if there's certain things bothering you, especially like with relationships, because most people are going to be mostly depressed over relationships or money. And the ones from bad breakups in relationship, divorce, somebody cheating on yourself, those are worse right before you go to sleep or right when you wake up or when you don't have nothing to think about. That's when you're going to dwell on that. When you're busy, you don't dwell on it. So if your man cheated on you, you really loved him, he had a baby by him, and he cheated on you with your girlfriend and just broke your heart and put you down. When you go to work and you get to work, you ain't gonna be thinking about it. But soon as you get a break, soon as you back at home, if you're watching TV, a good show, something like that, you ain't gonna think about it. But when the TV's off and it's quiet, that's when all of those feelings are going to hit you and when you wake up in the morning. So most people that have a bad breakup, that's the first thing they think about when they wake up is the person they broke up with. And a lot of times that's the last thing they think about before they go to bed. And this is one of the most common ones that mess with the mind. The economical ones you don't think about as much in terms of being sad or whatever, because your mind is constantly trying to figure out how to get out this mess. Oh my God, I don't got the rent. Are they going to try to evict me? So it's such a problem. It doesn't give you a lot of time to dwell on the problem because you kind of just got to constantly dwell on, is there any solution for the economical ones? So the economical depression gets hid because with economical depression, you got to constantly think about solutions. So you can't think about what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to constantly think about the solution. So when you're looking to get evicted, you don't have a lot of time to dwell on the eviction. You're trying to dwell on preventing the eviction. But you might be going through some depression in that, doing all that. But you won't know. You won't know. So a lot of these like multimillionaires and stuff, these big millionaires, like these Hollywood people that be doing all these movies and buy these mansions, and then they don't get no movies for a while and their money get messed up, and then they go broke, they be going through serious economical depression. That's why a lot of times when you see them, you ever notice when you see a big Hollywood star that haven't been doing movies for a while, you notice how a lot of times how bad they look? How they look all like sick almost, like beat down because of the economical depression of being this big star with these Rolls Royce and all that, and you don't got that no more. And all that you had to go through on the road down, and now you're struggling. And it just eats you up. Some of them, they end up going to substance abuse and all of that because it's heavy. It's in the streets too. I'm gonna be talking about that when I drop my book. I'm gonna go into more specific details. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at the end of the day, though, you have to fight through it, and you have to want to stay alive. And to me, one of the best ways to fight depression is to go plant-based. I think going plant-based and exercising is the best thing for everybody. Why? Because when you go plant-based, you're eating cleaner. When you exercise, you're working out, you're getting your muscles together. But in order to do that, there's two more things got to happen. You got to be mental. So now when you putting your mental into, oh, I got to eat better. How do I eat this? How do I cook this? How do I buy this? What's this juice do? What that juice do? Now your mind's in that, so you can't think about your breakup. You can't think about that type of stuff because now you're shifting your mind into your health. And so now once you shift your mind into your health, that gives your mind something to stimulate to stop you from being depressed. Because what your great grandparents used to say and your parents, they say what? An idle mind is what? The devil's workshop. That's what they used to say. An idle mind is a devil's workshop. So thinking about exercise and thinking about cleaning up the way you eat, thinking about getting some more money, these things will help you battle through depression to stop you from debilitating and help you rehabilitate and build up to give your mind, something to focus on. So let's say you're really trying to stack your bread. You a man. Your wife cheated on you with your best friend or whatever, and you went through a crazy divorce and she broke your heart. And when you get ready to go to bed at night, you think about her all the time. It's been 3 years. You still think about her because you've been with her 15 years. So it's not like you could just forget this. This was 15 years of your life. You're trying to forget it. Now you're working, you got a job. Now you're focusing on rebuilding your life and you're focusing on stacking your money. So what happens is once you start focusing on stacking your money, your heartbreak over her not going to go away, but now your mind got to share the two things. So now when you're sitting there by yourself at night and you get ready to go to bed, you're going to think about the breakup, but you're going to think about getting your money. And you thinking about getting your money is going to stop your thoughts from her from getting in your head like, because you got something else in your head, so that can't take over. So your heartbreak over her can't take over because you've also programmed your mind to get your money. And that's going to help alleviate you from just wallowing in your grief. Because now you got another thought. And this other thought is the best thing you can have. Now, if you add being healthy and stuff like that, and think about this Wednesday night, and you're supposed to go to the gym Thursday morning, and you finish your day Wednesday, and you laying down, you think about your ex-wife or your ex-husband, but you're trying to stack some money, and you got some things where you're going to make some money. So now when you lay down, you're going to think about that, but you're going to think about this money. And then if you got to go to the gym in the morning, what you going to be thinking about? I got to go to the gym in the morning. Let me get my gym clothes out. So, okay, do I got everything for my protein shake? Do I got my... So that's going to make it so that your mind is not just empty. So that breakup can't just get in your head because you got other stuff in your head. And that's going to help keep you sane. Because you got goals, you got other things in your head. And so if your breakup is in your mind 60% and you just keep living your life, it's going to go down 50, 40, 30, 10, 20. 10, 5, gone. One day, you ain't going to ever think about them no more. And you're not going to even notice when you start thinking about them. It's just going to disappear. And you ain't going to even remember when it happened. And a lot of times, it happened when you meet somebody else. And when you meet somebody else and you start building with them, the other person be gone. So one thing you definitely want to do is you definitely don't want to force no situation to try to be with nobody, but you don't want to reject that because of past situations. You still want to put yourself out there and meet somebody and have a life. And so if you put yourself out there to meet somebody and have a life, as y'all start getting closer, that stuff won't be gone. Because now you got a whole new life. Now you got a whole new woman or a whole new man. Now you got a whole new world. And now you're thinking about that. You get up in the morning, think about your new woman or your new man. And that brings like some relaxation in your mind. Because I've been there. I've been in relationships where I broke up and it was bothering me. And the main thing that helped me was I still had to go to work and make money, and I met somebody else. And when I met somebody else, there was no room to think about the other person. It really didn't matter. I never thought about it anymore. I never thought about them breakups ever again. They was irrelevant. It becomes totally irrelevant because now you got a new life and you got too much going on and you got too many plans and too much things going on. Basically, but don't go and force a new relationship because now you're using a new person to try to erase the old person, and that's not going to work. The new relationship still got to be organic. So I would say if you went through a bad breakup, do not try to go out and get no relationship. Wait and let the relationship happen organically. Don't try to fill the void because what's going to happen is it's not going to work. And ladies, you love this man, he broke your heart, you're trying to force to get in a new relationship, and now you laying in the bed with this new man still thinking about the other one. Same with men. She broke your heart or you didn't want to break up, you ran and tried to get somebody new, but you're still going to be thinking about her. So that's not going to work. It has to be organic. And you got to let time go and heal wounds. So what you want to do is always concentrate on your health. The best thing to clear your mind is to concentrate on your health. Because concentrating on your health take a whole lot of concentration. So when you start concentrating on your health and your wealth, that could cure you from anything. When you start concentrating on getting your money and taking care of your health, that is the strongest thing you could do for any type of mental situation. That will repair all of that. That gives you purpose, and that blocks everything. Because you got to block a lot to get your money. Y'all know I ain't lying. You know, like we are regular, and you know how you work, and you making your money, and you just working, and you paying your bills. And that's different than when you start saying, I'm going to stack some money. So working and making money ain't the same energy like when you say, I'm going to stack some money. Like when you start wanting to see them numbers grow. When you start wanting to see $2,000 when the month is over. Then the next month, you want to see $4,000. After you pay everything and everything, every month, you want to see 5, 10, 15, 20, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. So when you start getting in that mode where you want to see that money grow, this your mind, and you got garbage in your mind, and then that garbage got to come out. That push the garbage out. The garbage can't stay in there with that. So now you concentrating on getting money, you concentrating on your health, and there's not a whole lot of room for the garbage. So the garbage got to try to fit in there maybe for 20 minutes when you get ready to go to sleep or something like that. But eventually the garbage got to go. So health and wealth will definitely cure you from any type of emotional trauma, for sure. That will cure you. You understand? So like ladies, you broke up with him, hit the gym and get finer. All right, I'm going to get this butt popping. I'm finna get this body snatched. Yeah, use it. I'm going to show him And no, I'm not going to get back with him. I'm going to have this snatch for the new man I'm finna meet. And then me and I'm finna go hit the gym. You know what I'm saying? And you thinking when she do see you, you're going to be straight, but you ain't trying to get back with her. You ain't trying to get back with her. You doing you now. You doing you. So it gets to the point, they're not even in it. And once you get into the money and get into the health, you don't even need them for motivation no more, because now the money going to start motivating you. And it's not going to be like, I'm going to show them. It's going to be like, I'm going to show myself. I need this 10,000 to turn into 20, and it ain't going to have nothing to do with them. I'm lifting this much weights, or I'm doing this much on the treadmill. I need to increase that. And you ain't going to have to use them for the motivation. Now, the competitiveness of the working out becomes the motivation. That I'm going to go further. That's what the beautiful thing about working out, because you become obsessed with doing better. You become obsessed with yourself. You know what I'm saying? I swear to God, when you work out, you become obsessed with your own improvement. I'm telling you. For example, I know a lot of y'all say, well, Pharaoh, you're not going live regularly. Let's talk about yesterday. So yesterday, I think I went live once early. Usually everybody know I would have came back and went live. I'm doing bodybuilding. I'm lifting weights. I'm build bodybuilding. So because of the way my day was going, I had to eat. They want me to eat and get so much protein and so much vegetables or fruit 2 or 3 times a day, which I'm not used to. So I ate after I went live. When I ate and I put that nutrition in there, I went and did some push-ups, did some workouts. So then I'm digesting the food. I'm tired from the workout. So I felt like I'm 67. So I laid down. Now I'm thinking when I lay down, I'm going to go to sleep. But when I laid down, I had worked out. My body had started digesting all that protein and vegetables and stuff. So I didn't ever go to sleep. So I'm laying down all night. Now I'm on my phone, DJing on Instagram, because I'm DJing on Instagram now, posting pictures and posting songs, clips of songs. I ain't fall asleep until like this morning. So now when morning comes, now I'm sleepy. Now I'm asleep. And now I wake up. It's 4:35 in the evening. So my whole schedule's shot. But that's because I'm trying to pack in more vegetables and protein, do more push-ups, lift the barbells more, resistant cords more. So right now I'm going through something. I'm going through a lot of changes as I try to get bigger and eat more. It's one thing to try to exercise more, and they want you to eat more, because as you do these exercises, look at it like this. The exercise is like a balloon. The muscle's like a balloon. So yeah, you exercise, but you got to put air in it, and the air is the food. So it's like when you're exercising, if you don't put the food in there, then you're not feeding the body, so the body can't grow. So if you're trying to grow the body, you're trying to grow the chest, grow the back, grow the legs, grow the abs, you actually have to feed them to grow. So you're doing exercise and you're eating more. And I'm adjusting to that right now. But that, you don't have no time for depression when you're doing that. You don't have no time for nothing but concentrate on what you're trying to accomplish. So I'm still right now going through something, trying to get my body regulated. Because now it's 1 o'clock in Chicago, and I'm finna be up all night probably. So I'm finna be going live again, battling this situation. So I hope y'all learn from this. Exercise, concentrate on your money, and try to clear your mind of anything that's bothering you the best you can. And the best way to kind of clear your mind is to put something else in your mind, which is, create something to do. Art, music, eating better, exercising. You got to give yourself something else to think about. You know what I'm saying? You got to give yourself something else to think about. And never feel bad because you felt bad. Because feeling bad about feeling bad, that's what's creating depression. Accept it when you don't feel good about something. That's the best way to get over it. You broke up or you got divorced, you don't like it, accept it and move on. Not accepting it makes you deal with it longer. And if you're around friends that did you dirty, get rid of them. Get rid of anybody that backstabs you, do you dirty. Get them out your life because they're taking up space where other people could be. You can't get other people in your life when the house is crowded. So kick everybody out the house so you got room for new visitors. Basically, and always stay positive. Stay positive. Stay positive. And stop isolating yourself saying it's just you. It's everybody. We all go through stuff. You'll be all right. Stop thinking you're so special that you're the only one could go through something. Everybody go through stuff. All right, so support the channel. Thanks for watching. Stay positive. Stay positive. Stay positive. Don't do no negativity. Eat right. Take care of yourself. And change the way you make sure you change what you're doing. And go subscribe to Vegan Intel. Subscribe now. I need 1,000 subscribers over there. 1,000 more. So make it happen. One.